Chapter 16:28. Love, Little Lucky left in high spirits. Before Little Roar left, he sent her a message, asking her why she was doing this. He knew that Yue would not be so free as to meddle in other people's business. Oh no, she didn't have balls. She was probably too bored. Sima Yue pursed her lips, but she knew that Little Roar was still reliable at crucial moments. So she said to him, "It's not that I want to meddle in other people's affairs, but this which is related to the Tao family. If she wants to help the Tao family, it will be more troublesome for us to take action. If she's not here, then we don't have to worry about that." "I see. Then Little Lucky and I will bring her out for a walk. We'll come back when we're more or less done." Little Roar said, "All right, I'll cook a feast for you when I'm done. I'll remember that. Don't deny it when you come back." After Little Roar finished speaking, he cut off the connection between the two. Sima Yue could not help but laugh. This guy's personality had not changed even after so many years. Things had changed with the passage of time. To her, it was also a kind of consolation that there were still people who maintained their original intentions. Therefore, even though the other spirit beasts had all become mature and steady, only Little Roar still had that playful look on his face. She did not say anything to him. With her around, it just had to be happy. She came out of her room and went to Tao Yixian's room. He was lying on the bed, his eyes staring straight at the ceiling. "What's wrong?" She went to him and took his wrist to examine him. So in a family like this, kinship is pitifully thin. Tao Yixian came back to his senses. His previous expression had disappeared. Sima Yue could feel that he seemed to have changed from the inside out. "So you heard everything." Sima Yue retracted her hand. "You're recovering well. You'll be able to get out of bed tomorrow." Tao Yixian looked at her. "Isn't this what you wanted me to hear?" Sima Yue pursed her lips and did not deny it. "The sooner you know the truth, the better." "I know." Tao Yixian stared at the roof once more. "Actually, I should have known that he doesn't have any fatherly feelings for me. Whatever use I had for him had long since been exhausted the moment he stabilized his position as patriarch. It's rare for him to tolerate me for 400 years. I remember you said that your father couldn't have children for some reason, right?" Sima Yue asked. "Yes. Why are you asking this?" Tao Yixian asked. "Madam is pregnant. I heard that a godly doctor was hired to treat your father, but the strange thing is that the godly doctor disappeared after treating your father. He didn't stay at home." Sima Yue said. "What?" Tao Yixian exclaimed in a low voice. "Huh. The patriarch believes it. He didn't even call him father and directly called him family head." It seemed that the last bit of affection between father and son had dissipated. "Of course I do," Sima Yue said. "Speaking of which, I feel quite sorry for you." "Sympathy? I don't need it," Tao Yixian said. "In the past, I couldn't see past it. Now that I've seen past it, it's nothing much. I just feel that my mother isn't worth it. She saved him, gave him her chastity, gave birth to a son for him, and in the end, lost her life because of him. But in the end, we become a thorn in someone else's side. Then what do you plan to do from now on?" Sima Yue asked. "Our deal is only to send you back to the position of young patriarch. It doesn't include dealing with your father." "I know," Tao Yixian said. "That's why I'm not asking for anything more from you. However, if I can become the patriarch, I'll be able to mobilize more resources and help you find your master and teacher. So, I just want you to ensure my safety," Tao Yixian said. Sima Yue shrugged. "What's the difference?" "Of course, if I just want to take back the position of young patriarch, it'll be much easier. If I want to overthrow him and become the patriarch, it'll be much harder. The danger I'll face will also be much greater. In comparison, what you'll have to do is much more dangerous. Is there something you haven't told me?" Sima Yue crossed her arms and stared into his eyes. "You're very confident, so there's something you haven't told me." "Hee, you've even found out," Tao Yixian said. "Many years ago, I've already sensed the danger, so I've been collecting information. As long as I make this public, then his position as the patriarch won't be stable. Even if you overthrow him, there are many others who can take over that position. Do you think you'll have a chance of winning?" Sima Yue said. "I have my own plans." Tao Yixian said, "Originally, I wanted to drag them down with me after my death. I never thought that there would be a day where I could use them. As expected, I can't underestimate you. Sima Yue looked at him deeply. If it wasn't for your foster father's betrayal, you wouldn't have ended up like that, right? From a child who had a hard time surviving to someone who had silently obtained decisive evidence. It turned out that she had always underestimated him. Tao Yixin looked back at her. Don't worry, I won't do anything to you. I don't care if you do anything to me or not. Sima Yue said, anyway, I won't be staying in this place for long, so there's no conflict of interest between us. If you really want to do anything to me. She didn't finish her sentence. She glanced at him before turning around to leave. So you're saying that we've reached a deal? Sima Yue had just walked to the door when she heard the voice behind her. She waved her hand and strode out. Tao Yixin smiled. Her meaning was clear. He knew her background, so would he dare to touch her? Whether he dared or not, whether he knew or not, whether he was willing or not, there was a huge difference. The next day, Tao Yixin got out of bed. After his strength and body recovered, he wanted to leave, but was stopped by Sima Yue and Great Master Ji. With your current appearance, you'll be discovered if you walk out 3 meters. In less than 10 minutes, you'll be caught. Great Master Ji didn't hesitate to poke at his sore spot. Tao Yixin stood where he was, clenching and relaxing his fists. After a few deep breaths, he finally calmed himself down. It's not impossible for you to go find your foster father, Sima Yue said, but what will happen after you find him? It's broad daylight right now. Will you still be able to confront him directly? But I won't be satisfied if I don't see him. Tao Yixin said, what's wrong with that? Just meet him. But first, you have to know how to disguise yourself like me. Sima Yue looked him up and down. I don't think you'll be able to do that. Tao Yixin had been curious about her disguise before. It was definitely impossible for him to change so thoroughly. Then we can only use the second method. What method? Great Master Ji asked. Tie him up and bring him here. I think this won't be a problem for old Ji at all, right? Great Master Ji. Chapter 16:29. Love. Although he was speechless, Great Master Ji still managed to get her back that night under the temptation of a lost poison recipe. Sima Yue did not care how he brought her back. She looked at the person lying on the ground. Her looks were barely satisfactory. Tao Yixin clenched his fists when he saw him. Old Ji, wake him up, Sima Yue said. Old Ji took out a small pill and fed it to him. Then he got up and the two of them left the room together, leaving Tao Yixin to face his adoptive father alone. Before he left, Sima Yue set up a barrier around him. She and Great Master Ji stood in the courtyard and couldn't hear the commotion inside. She didn't know if he was angry or sad. How do you think this brat will deal with his adoptive father? Great Master Ji felt that he was more interested in things other than poison when he was with her. I don't think I'll let him go so easily, Sima Yue said. As for how we're going to deal with him, it depends on whether he still remembers our friendship over the years. You really want to help him become the head of the family? Great Master Ji turned to look at her. What's the difference? Sima Yue smiled at Great Master Ji. It's the same thing anyway. These old bones of mine will probably never have a day of peace because of you. Great Master Ji said, Old Ji, if you have nowhere to go, you can go to Heartbreak Valley. There are a lot of poisonous creatures there, so you could do any research you want. Sima Yue said as she threw a token to him. It's very free inside. As long as you make a small oath before you enter that you will not do anything dangerous in the valley, you will be fine. What force is that? Great Master Ji held the token. I'm more familiar with it. Sima Yue explained the general situation of Paramount Valley to him. She told him that if he wanted to go, he could ask Shimin Feng to arrange a place for him that he liked. When Great Master Ji heard that there was such a good place, he was rather moved. However, he was used to the life of the Tao family. If it wasn't for the fact that he couldn't continue living, he didn't plan on moving for a while. I'll keep this for now. Who knows, it might come in handy one day. Great Master Ji chuckled as he kept the token. What do you plan to do next? What do you need from me? You don't have to do anything. You still have to live in the Tao family in the future, so you don't have to get involved in this matter anymore. Great Master Ji was stunned. He was not allowed to participate at this time. This matter will definitely cause unrest in the Tao family. If you participate too much, it won't be easy for you to have a foothold in the Tao family. You don't belong to any side. If you don't participate in this kind of thing, no one will say anything to you in the future, Sima Yue said. Great Master Ji's heart throbbed a little. He opened his mouth, but his throat felt a little congested. All right, let's not bother about him. Let's go back to our own business, Sima Yue said, and went back to her room. Great Master Ji looked at her back and laughed silently. It wasn't the usual sneer or feminine smile, but a kind of joy that came from the bottom of his heart. Children nowadays, he sighed. Forget it, this old man will also go and study that prescription. Sima Yue didn't know what Tao Yixian had said to his foster father. She only knew that he had come to ask her for a bottle of corpse-dissolving water. When he left, he said, I gave him a quick death. In the end, he didn't let his hatred destroy his conscience. There were only 3 days left until the Tao family's great assembly. Sima Yue took Tao Yixian away in the middle of the night. She couldn't help him with what he was about to do, nor did she want to interfere. The only thing she had to do now was find the Tao family's old ancestor on the day of the great assembly and guarantee that he wouldn't die on that day. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. On the morning of the Tao family's great assembly, she had just come out when she saw Great Master Ji standing in the corridor. Old Ji, thank you for taking care of me these past few days. Sima Yue handed him a pill and said with a smile, Mine is much gentler than yours. I didn't feel anything during the detoxification process. This old man did it on purpose. Great Master Ji took the antidote and swallowed it. The stagnant feeling in his body slowly dissipated. You, be careful. I will. Sima Yue said, Old Ji, if you come up with anything good in the future, you must share it with this junior. You too. Old Ji, you sure have confidence in me. Sima Yue walked out of the courtyard. As she walked, she instructed 1,000 resonants to transform and return to his original appearance. She turned around, and the sun shone on her body. Old Ji, you must take a good look at my appearance. You can't go to Paramount Valley without knowing what I look like. I'm leaving. Goodbye. Great Master Ji knew that Sima Yue had never revealed her true appearance here, but he was still shocked by her sudden transformation. He only regained his senses when she returned to her original appearance and left the courtyard. Master, how did Big Sister Yue do it? The little child's eyes were filled with worship, and his eyes were wide open. You can ask her yourself when you grow up. Great Master Ji slapped the child's hands off his legs and went to the research room. These few days were just a small interlude in his life. Now, his life was about to return to normal. However, it suddenly felt a little cold and cheerless. After Sima Yue left Great Master Ji's courtyard, she turned left and right, avoiding the guards as she headed north. When she came out of their courtyard, she came into contact with 1,000 resonants and returned to her original appearance. She even changed into the servant girl's clothes. She hadn't been idle these few days and had been investigating the Tao family situation. With the map from Helmsman Tao and the contribution of the Scarlet Bees these days, she had a clear grasp of where the roads were when the guards would patrol, and so on. She avoided the guards and didn't meet anyone from the courtyard to the back mountain. When she reached the foot of the mountain, she wasn't in a hurry to go up the mountain. Instead, she looked in the direction of the Tao family's courtyard. That place had been filled with earth-shattering noises before, but it had quieted down now. Tao Yixian should have appeared with his men. Looks like I have to hurry, she muttered to herself as she turned and walked up the mountain. Stop! 2 guards stood in the middle of the road, blocking her way. Sima Yue looked at their strength, and the 2 elders from the Egret clan appeared behind her. Since they're here, I'll leave them to you, she ordered the 2 elders. Young miss, please continue forward, the elder said as he began to fight with the 2 guards. Sima Yue continued forward. Before she reached the top of the mountain, a few more people flew out. Sima Yue called out the elders from her spirit pagoda and continued forward. Who are you? Sima Yue raised her head and looked at the person on the giant rock in front of her, saying, I'm asking a passerby. Chapter 16:30. Yes. That man frowned slightly. Ask a passerby. Ask where the road was. No matter who you are, this is the place where the old ancestor is in seclusion. Quickly leave, he shouted. So easy to talk to. Sima Yue smiled. If it weren't for the fact that you were afraid that the commotion I caused would bring the old ancestor out, would you be so easy to talk to? What do you mean? What I mean is what I mean. You don't have to persuade me to leave. I came here today to see the old ancestor. Do it. She was too lazy to talk nonsense and called out all the beasts in her spirit pagoda. At this time, a group of people flew down from the mountain. Sima Yue didn't think that they would actually have so many people lying in ambush here. It seemed like they were really preventing people from getting close to the old ancestor and informing him. It was no wonder that Tao Yixian's people had all died here. With this array, they wouldn't be able to get through without some strength. However, the other party had so many people, so she wasn't anxious. Instead, she called Sima Lu Xian and the others out. She was the weakest and was surrounded in the middle by them. They didn't let her make a move, and this made her feel helpless. Such a big commotion, and the old ancestor didn't even hear it? Why didn't he have any reaction? The commotion here was deliberately concealed by people with intentions, and it didn't spread to the square. And over there, they didn't have the time to care about these things. Because when the younger generation of the clan was competing, the young master who betrayed the clan and went missing returned. Not only did he return, he even brought out evidence to prove his innocence. He even brought out all the evidence he had. One of them was that the madam of the clan had colluded with outsiders and plotted to take over the Tao family's business. She even said that many people with important positions were involved. Today's meeting was to test the younger generation of the clan and also to display the clan's power in front of the people below. Tao Yixian appeared in front of everyone and even brought evidence. It was obviously impossible to kill him like this. Both sides were in a deadlock. Sima Yue looked at the sky. They had wasted too much time here. She looked at the mountain top, and her body slowly disappeared from the sky. No one on the battlefield noticed. When she came out again, she was on the other side of the mountain. She looked at the barrier in front of her. No wonder the old ancestor couldn't hear such a big commotion. It turned out that there was a barrier. If little Roar was here, it would be easy for her to call him out and fuse with him. But now that little Roar was not here, this method was useless. Thinking briefly, she focused her spirit energy to attack the barrier. The great ancestor, who was in seclusion in the stone chamber, naturally felt that his boundary had been attacked. His face darkened, and there was some anger in his eyes. I wonder which junior is so impudent. Tao family, old ancestor heard that you aren't in seclusion. You should be able to hear what I'm saying, right? If you still don't come out, Tao Yixian is going to die. The Tao family's patriarch, who was originally as steady as a rock, immediately stood up. Sima Yue soon saw the stone room open and a tall and slender person walk out. Who are you? Old ancestor Tao asked. You don't need to know who I am for now. I was only asked by Tao Yixian to come here and meet you. Sima Yue stretched out her hand and pointed at the battlefield on the other side of the mountain, saying, In order to meet you, I spent a lot of effort. My men can't hold on much longer. The Tao family's patriarch's face darkened. He retracted his boundary and appeared in the air in a flash. He shouted at the people on the other side, Stop! When the Tao family members saw the patriarch of the Tao family, they could not help but shiver. They could not help but stop. As for the others, when they saw that Sima Yue, who was beside him, did not say anything, they stopped as well. When the Tao family's patriarch saw this situation, how could he not understand? He was so angry that his aura was released. You all have guts. Sima Yue felt his powerful aura and retreated to the side, reminding him, These people are all small fries. It's not too late to take care of them later. However, if you don't get there in time, Tao Yixian might lose his life. What he said was not wrong. This was because their family had heard the fighting in the plaza. Oomph. He flung his long sleeves, and the Tao family members were frozen in place. Sima Yue was dumbstruck by this. Too amazing. The Tao family's patriarch ignored her shocked expression and flew directly towards the plaza. Yue, let's go too. Han Miaoshuang came over and said. Where are we going? Sima Yue was studying how the Tao family's patriarch had trapped them and asked instinctively. We're going to take a look at the situation on Tao Yixian's side. Han Miao Shuang said, Didn't you say you wanted to ensure his safety? Aren't we going to take a look? Oh, his patriarch is already there. What danger can there be? We've already done the most dangerous thing. Sima Yue said. He had evidence in his hands, and the patriarch was there as well. As long as his evidence was solid enough, there would not be any changes to today's situation. Compared to that side, she was more interested in this. Han Miao Shuang watched as she circled around those people and pulled her hand, saying, We can study these people after the matter is over. Let's go over there now. Sima Yue was dragged along by her and followed unwillingly. Before she left, she remembered to take back the beasts and the Egret clan elders. When they arrived at the plaza, the matter was already nearing its end. No matter how intense the battle was before, once the patriarch made a move, no one would be able to escape. Only with reason could the patriarch make a move. This was also the reason why Sima Yue called the Tao family's patriarch over for Tao Yixian. If he was unreasonable, what she would do today was not to invite him out, but to think of a way to not let him know about what happened today. Evil creature, what are you doing? She's your mother. Are you trying to kill them all? She's pregnant with your younger brother. Patriarch Tao's berating voice traveled far, and they heard it before they even reached the plaza. Younger brother? I'm afraid Patriarch doesn't think that he's my younger brother, but your only son? Tao Yixian laughed coldly. What? You think I'm wrong? Evil creature. Patriarch Tao wanted to grab Tao Yixian, but was stopped by the people beside him. Did I hit the nail on the head? Tao Yixian avoided him. I was poisoned by the 100 insects and 100 herbs poison and was being chased after. As my father, you didn't look for me and even destroyed the antidote for the 100 insects and 100 herbs poison. Oh, that's not right. I can't say that you didn't look for me. You sent people to the Tang family, and I was chased all the way to Rabbit Ear Mountain by the Tang family. So, you could be considered to have looked for me. When everyone heard this, they couldn't help but gasp. A father chased after his son? Was this really something a patriarch would do? What nonsense are you spouting? To be able to mobilize your people and use your token to get the poison from Great Master Ji. Who else could it be other than the person beside you? You're actually shielding him even though he betrayed the family. Father, is this how you explain things to the clan members? Tao Yixian's words were heartbreaking. Chapter 16:31. Love. As soon as Tao Yixian's words fell, the crowd burst into cheers. If it was just an ordinary crime, it would be fine if you wanted to cover up for her. This was a great crime of betrayal. How could they tolerate it? Sima Yue never thought that Tao Yixian would actually have such evidence. It looked like she had really underestimated him. No, she had been improving her opinion of him, but he kept surprising her. He was truly a scheming man. Fortunately, I won't have much interaction with him, she muttered softly. We were all fooled by him. We thought he was a cute little Shota. We didn't expect him to be a piece of smoked bacon. Han Miao Shuang echoed from the side. This kind of person is very good at pretending to be a pig to eat a tiger. However, once he reaches the point where he has to hide himself, he will be like a dragon emerging from the shallows. He can no longer be trapped. Jiang Junxian said, He is indeed a scheming person. What if he doesn't fulfill the agreement when he becomes the head of the family? Su Xiaoxiao was a little worried. He won't, Sima Yue said confidently. Little junior sister, let me tell you, don't be deceived by a man's appearance. Han Miao Shuang hooked her neck. Look at those who are more handsome, the more evil they are. Really? The first time I saw eldest senior brother, I thought he was so handsome. Sima Yue smiled and glanced at Jiang Junxian. The latter was staring at Han Miao Shuang with narrowed eyes. Han Miao Shuang stretched out her hands and directly covered his eyes, humping. Am I not telling the truth? Do you want me to say that the more handsome a man is, the more reliable he is? If I believe that, would I still follow you? Wouldn't we have to run every time we see them? Jiang Junxian grabbed her hand, then stared at her and said sternly, You dare. So, am I right? Han Miao Shuang raised her chin proudly. Yes, you're right, except for me. Everyone, it was Sima Yoyue's first time seeing Jiang Junxian like this. Sure enough, people's IQ would drop when they were in love. When we find Master, we will get married. Jiang Junxian said. When did I agree to marry you? Han Miao Shuang wanted to withdraw her hand, but he held it tightly and she couldn't. Even if you don't agree, you still have to agree. Jiang Junxian's attitude was unyielding. I don't want to, Han Miao Shuang snorted. Sima Yu shook her head as she listened from the side. Who would propose like this? Eldest senior brother is not enlightened in this aspect. I say, if you two want to flirt, can you choose another time and place? She couldn't help but remind them. If this continued, they would be discovered. Only then did Han Miao Shuang remember that it wasn't just the two of them. Her face flushed red. It's all your fault. She glared at Jiang Junxian. Senior sister, there's a good show to watch. Here comes the main event. Sima Yue pulled her sleeve. When Han Miao Shuang heard that there was a good show to watch, it immediately attracted her attention and ignored Jiang Junxian. In the public square, Patriarch Tao stood in front of the Patriarch's wife. Because of this, the old ancestor was enraged and removed him from his position, announcing in front of everyone that Tao Yixian would take over. Sima Yue and the others thought that many people would jump out to protest, but for some reason, those old fellows actually agreed. It seemed like they were either threatened by Tao Yixian or recruited by him. As for the other younger ones, although they had objections, the old ancestor and the elders didn't say anything, so how would they dare to stand out? Father, Tao Yixian took 2 steps forward. Mother betrayed the clan and colluded with others, harming the clan's interests. Today, we must take her down. You dare, Patriarch Tao shouted. You unfilial son, if you dare to touch a single hair on her head, you'll have to step over my dead body first. Father, she's wronged you. She's not worth your protection. Tao Yixian's face was filled with pain and hatred. No matter what, she's still my wife. Although Patriarch Tao knew that her sins were unforgivable, he still couldn't bear to abandon her. Father, do you really think that she still treats you the same as before? She doesn't even have you in her heart right now. Tao Yixian cried out. What nonsense are you spouting? I only have old Master in my heart. The Patriarch's wife knew that only by following her husband would they have a way out, so she grabbed his arm tightly and refused to let go. Don't you feel like you're slapping yourself in the face when you say those words? Tao Yixian said, It looks like you won't shed tears until you see the coffin. Bring him in. Go. Let's go. 2 guards brought a man to the plaza. The man lost his balance and fell flat on his face. Seeing the man, Patriarch Tao's face was filled with confusion while his wife was shocked. Why did you bring the godly doctor here? Patriarch Tao asked. Father, do you still remember this godly doctor? Tao Yixian didn't answer, but asked instead. Of course I do. He was the one who had cured his body, so how could he not remember? If it wasn't for him, how could his wife have gotten pregnant again? A few months ago, someone saw him being chased by a group of people and saved him. However, they heard something shocking. Tao Yixian said as he looked at him meaningfully. What is it? This matter can't come out of my mouth. Tao Yixian said. It's best if you let the godly doctor say it himself. Tell me, what is it? Patriarch Tao, save me. The godly doctor suddenly cried out. Save you? Who wants your life? Patriarch Tao vaguely sensed something, but he wasn't willing to believe it. It's the Patriarch's wife. She sent people to kill me, to silence me. The godly doctor cried, I didn't cure your internal injuries at all. She was the one who told me to say that I had already cured you. She was the one who found me and gave me many benefits. That's why I went against my conscience and lied to you. Because I didn't cure you at all, I didn't dare to stay in the Tao family. I didn't think that after leaving the Tao family, I would encounter assassination attempts and almost die a few times. Patriarch Tao was clearly shocked by the godly doctor's words as his expression changed again and again. Godly doctor, you must be mistaken, right? My wife is obviously pregnant. Why didn't you treat my injury? It's true. That wife had long been pregnant with someone else. She just kept you in the dark. The godly doctor said, If you don't believe me, I can swear that everything I said was true. If I really cured you, then I'll go to the infernal hell. After the oath, he was still standing there perfectly fine, which meant that everything he said was true. Then that meant everyone's gazes turned to Patriarch Tao and his wife. Tell me, what's going on here? Patriarch Tao's eyes were bloodshot from the series of blows, and he looked very frightening. Old Master. The Patriarch's wife was frightened by his appearance, and she subconsciously took 2 steps back. I don't need you to say anything. Swear as well. If the child in your stomach isn't mine, then you'll go to the infernal hell. Patriarch Tao said through gritted teeth. Chapter 1632. Love, swear an oath? Did she dare? The answer is obvious. He didn't dare. Master, swear. Say that the child in your stomach is mine. Say that you didn't do anything to let me down. Patriarch Tao roared. I can't. Madam Patriarch shook her head and stepped back. How could the crowd not understand her behavior? The family head's wife had really made the family head a cuckold. Who is the adulterer? I can't say. Madam Patriarch lost her balance. Her body leaned back, her center of gravity unstable, and directly fell to the ground. You can't say? Do you want me to guess? Family head Tao's expression became ferocious. He stepped forward, grabbed her neck, and lifted her up. Let go. The madam tried to pry his hand away with both hands, but she couldn't move it at all. I treated you wholeheartedly and neglected my son for hundreds of years. As soon as you said you didn't want to see him, I sent him to the most dangerous place to gain experience and forbade him from taking a single step into our courtyard. You sent someone to kill him with poison. Knowing that he didn't die, I even want to get the antidote for you and destroyed the evidence. You betrayed the clan, and I was willing to give up my position as the patriarch to protect you. But you made me a cuckold. Tell me, how should I deal with you? No, don't. I was wrong. Cough, cough. Wrong? Do you think you're worthy of me just because you're wrong? We've been childhood sweethearts for so long. How could I not satisfy you? Why would I want you to go out and flirt with other women? Shameless be *TCH. Sima Yue laughed when she heard Tao Yixian's father's words. I've seen shameless people before, but I've never seen someone as shameless as you. A failed man will always put the blame on someone else, and even the things he does become dignified. Junior sister, what do you mean? Han Miao Shuang asked. Although Tao Yixian's father didn't intend to kill Tao Yixian in the beginning, when he found out that Tao Yixian had been poisoned and escaped, not only did no one go to help him, he even went to Old Ji to ask for the antidote. Moreover, he even sent people to kill him, because he felt threatened by Tao Yixian. But now he made it sound so nice. What woman? That was just an excuse. It seems like he doesn't like his wife that much, Sima Yue said sarcastically. This kind of man should be dragged to hell together. Han Miao Shuang said hatefully. Indeed, there's nothing interesting after this. If you guys want to stay here, go ahead. I'm going back to look for an inn. Sima Yue was not interested in what happened after this. She turned around and left. Sima Lu Xian and the others weren't interested in this matter. They just accompanied her to watch it. Now that she was leaving, they naturally had to leave as well. Han Miao Shuang saw that everyone had left. The exciting part of the show in the square was over, and there was nothing more to see, so she left as well. However, Sima Yue said that this was the Tao family after all, so she couldn't be too ostentatious. After keeping them in the Spirit Pagoda, she went out and found a place where no one was around to let them out. Because of the Tao family assembly, there were more people in the city, so it wasn't that easy to find an inn. It was a good thing that Sima Yue had booked a room at the inn where Guinda and the others were staying. When Guinda and the others came back, it was almost nighttime. When they saw the people sitting in the living room, they were stunned for a moment. Yue, you're back. He walked over and greeted them with a smile. Yes, Uncle Gua, why did you come back so late? Sima Yue stood up and asked them to sit down. Isn't it because of those things? Guinda sighed as he spoke. I really didn't expect that things would turn out like this after so many twists and turns. Uncle Gua, I heard that the other families went back rather early. Why did you guys come back so late? Han Miao Shuang asked. They left early. We were left behind by the patriarch, the young master. Guainda replied. His voice was light and cheerful. It seemed like it was a good thing that Tao Yixin had left them behind. Sima Yue wasn't surprised. Tao Yixin was in need of people now, and his relationship with the Guo family wasn't bad. After the incident at Rabbit Ear Mountain, he knew that the Guo family was on his side. How could he not put them in an important position? Then I have to congratulate you guys. In the future, the Guo family situation will definitely get better and better, Sima Yue said with a smile. Heh. Guinda laughed embarrassedly. Uncle Guo, what happened after that? At that time, we saw the previous family head wearing a green hat. What happened after that? Were they captured? Han Miao Shuang asked nosily. Guinda looked around and confirmed that there was no one around before saying, captured. Of course they captured them. Not only did they capture them, but they also captured the unconscious Second Master Tao. Second Master Tao? Why did they capture him? Of course it's that. You know what I mean. Sima Yue blinked and instantly understood. You're saying that Second Master Tao and his sister-in-law. Han Miao Shuang cried out in shock and quickly covered her mouth. It's good that you guys know about this. Why did you have to say it out loud? Guinda said embarrassedly. Sima Yue smiled. I really didn't expect that even a scum like Second Master Tao would have someone willing to be unfaithful to him. I wonder what Tao Yixin's father's expression will be when he hears about this. But isn't Second Master Tao still unconscious? Did they capture him and lock him up? Not really. They directly told Great Master Ji not to detoxify him. They let him sleep for the rest of his life. Then when Tao Yixin became the patriarch, those people didn't object. With the old ancestor around, who would dare to say anything? Guinda thought about the old ancestor's power, and his eyes filled with admiration. Even so, it's not that easy to completely control the family. I don't know when he'll be able to fulfill his promise. Han Miao Shuang said. Sima Yue didn't know how to guess. When would Tao Yixin be able to control the Tao family? When would he have the ability to do this? With the old ancestor around, it shouldn't take long. Also, he was so smart and scheming. If those people really wanted to fight with him, she really didn't know who would win. Let's wait. Anyway, Master's life Jade is still fine. We can afford to wait for a few days, she said. They chatted for a while before everyone went back. Quite a few people from the Guo family came. Aside from the few rooms that Yue and the others took, the rest were all booked by them. Before Guinda left, he said that he was going to prepare for the Tao family's meeting later. He said that it would continue, but it was different from before. This time, the family could send people to participate. As long as they had outstanding talent, they could also be nurtured by the family. Sima Yue thought that this guy really knew how to put up a front. At this time, this was the best way to help him pull people in. Chapter 1633. For the next few days, Tao Yixin didn't come to look for Sima Yue, but he sent someone to tell her that he would be busy these few days and that he would come to see her when he was done. Sima Yue didn't care about this, saying that she would wait and didn't pay attention to it. Han Miao Shuang and the others went out for a walk these few days, pulling Jiang Junxian and Su Xiao along, not seeing them for the entire day. They originally wanted to pull Sima Yue along, but she wasn't interested and stayed in her room. After waiting for a few days, Tao Yixin didn't come, but old Ji did. Sima Yue only heard the waiter say that someone was looking for her. At first, she thought that it was Tao Yixin, but when she saw that it was Great Master Ji, she was stunned. Old Ji, why are you here? Great Master Ji saw her and said excitedly, That poison, I've researched the antidote. Second Master Tao's poison? Sima Yue asked. Yes, I'll tell you. Great Master Ji, you haven't answered my question yet. Sima Yue said. What question did you ask? Great Master Ji looked at her blankly, not expecting her to ask anything. I'm asking, how did you know that I live here? Sima Yue repeated. Oh, about that. I asked the patriarch to look for you. He said that you were here, so I came over. Great Master Ji said. He knows that I know you. However, after being interrupted by Sima Yue, he didn't continue to tell her about the antidote. Let's go. I was just about to brew a pot of tea. It's your favorite Hong Pao. Sima Yue invited. Really? Then I came at the right time. Go, 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 let's go to your room. Great Master Ji was excited when he heard about Da Hong Pao. He drank the Da Hong Pao tea she brewed by chance and fell deeply in love with it. However, Sima Yue had only brewed it once or twice in those few days. Although she gave him some for him to brew himself, he couldn't brew it with this taste. Now that he heard that she had Da Hong Pao to drink, how could he still remember that he had come to show off to her? Sima Yue brought him to her room. Great Master Ji saw that the prepared tea set was placed on the tatami mat in the room. He was just waiting for the water to boil, so he ran over happily. Sima Yue went to the other side of the short table and started boiling water. All right, old Ji, you can tell me how you cured the poison now. What kind of herbs are used? Actually, it's nothing much. I just used. Great Master Ji listed a bunch of herbs, but his eyes were fixed on Sima Yue's hand that was picking up the tea. By the way, I might have to leave. Leave? Sima Yue was surprised. Didn't you say you were going to stay in the Tao family? However, Great Master Ji sighed and said, the Tao family has already changed. The future Tao family is no longer suitable for me. Is it because of Tao Yixian? You can say that. He's not what he looks like. He's not simple. Sima Yue could see this as well, so she didn't try to persuade him anymore. Tao Yixian was different from his father. He wouldn't treat someone like Great Master Ji with too much courtesy. He wouldn't provide Great Master Ji with any better conditions and would think of ways to squeeze out his value. It's good that I'm leaving. The world is big, so I can't be trapped on this island forever. I still have to go out for a walk. Great Master Ji was still very open-minded. If this place didn't want him, there would be other places for him, right? Sima Yue handed him the freshly brewed Da Hong Pao. Then when do you plan to leave? Aren't you going to leave once you find him? I'll follow you. Great Master Ji said, I'll go with you. Since he liked interacting with her, he might as well go with her now. Will he agree to let you leave? Sima Yue asked. Naturally, she was referring to Tao Yixian. What does it matter if he agrees or not? I'm not from the Tao family. If we're talking about who I owe a favor to, it's his father. I won't give him any face. Let me tell you, I've already packed my things and brought them with me. If you agree, I won't be going back today. Sima Yue was speechless as she looked at this guy who acted so quickly. If you leave just like that, what's going to happen to your little disciple? I'll leave him at home. Leave at home? That's right. I asked him today if he wanted to go out with me or stay at home. He said he wanted to stay at home, so I asked him to stay. Sima Yue finally felt that he was a little strange. When he said he wanted to stay at home, he meant he wanted to guard the house for you. He doesn't know that you don't plan to go back, right? Great Master Ji was stunned. He really didn't tell him anything. You should hurry and bring him out. Sima Yue waved her hand at him in disdain. There's no hurry. I'll go back after I finish drinking. Great Master Ji said, Anyway, I'm not in a hurry. I'll leave today. Sima Yue suddenly sympathized with the little child. To have such an unreliable master, it was similar to how Old Man Devil treated Wu Lingyu. As expected, Old Man Devil left very late that day. After drinking tea, he dragged her to study poisons. When he left, the sky was already dark. Sima Yue sent him off and went to find Guinda to ask if they had any empty rooms. The entire inn was booked by the Guo family, so she had to ask for their permission if she wanted to add more people. She didn't expect that the Guo family had already filled up all the rooms. Guinda got 2 young juniors to share a room and left 1 empty room for her. The next day, Great Master Ji brought the little child over. Seeing that it was just a small room, he didn't mind. On the other hand, the little child frowned in disgust. How can I live in such a small room? He pouted. Guinda was a little embarrassed. The room was indeed small. If you think it's small, you can move out. In such a big city, you'll definitely be able to find a room that suits you. Sima Yue said, I don't want someone who doesn't know how to be grateful to stay with us. If it was someone else who tamed him, the little child would definitely be angry. However, it was her, so he could only lower his head. I didn't say that I don't want to stay, he said in a small voice. Uncle Guo and the others are willing to give their rooms to you. They don't owe you anything. If you don't know how to be grateful, then you don't deserve to be treated well. Do you understand? When she met little Tu, He wasn't much older than the little child, but he was so obedient and cute. Now that she saw the little child like this, she couldn't help but say a few more words. She remembered that the little child wasn't anyone to her. His master was still here, so she went a little overboard. She apologized to Great Master G. Old G, I'm sorry. I didn't keep my mouth shut. Haha, it's fine. The little child has always been neglected. You didn't even care about him. Sima Yue cursed in her heart, but didn't say it out loud. Just like that, Great Master G stayed, and no one from the Tao family came to look for him. His matter passed just like that. Chapter 1634. It wasn't until half a month after that incident that Tao Yixin finally dragged his exhausted body to the inn. Sima Yue poured him a cup of tea and said, "You don't look very well. Drink some tea to wake yourself up." Tao Yixin did not stand on ceremony as he took the tea and drank it in one gulp. Then he looked at her. She smiled and poured him another cup. "If you're like this, I'll think that you won't even have water to drink after becoming the head of the family." She teased. "That's about right." Tao Yixin said, "I just wanted to sort things out quickly so I could come and see you." "So you're saying that you've already started?" Sima Yue thought about the ambiguity in his words and changed the topic. She did not really think that Tao Yixin was working so hard for her. "You can say that. I've already grasped the general direction." Tao Yixin said, "Yue, you're going to tell me the details of the people you're looking for now, right?" "All right." Sima Yue took out 2 portraits and said, "These are my master and teacher. They came to the Lost Lands a few decades ago. In the beginning, there aren't many outsiders on this island. A few decades ago, they weren't that far from here. You should be able to find them." Tao Yixin said, "However, it might take some time. Let me know if there's any news." Sima Yue said, "All right. However, I won't be staying in Phoenix City for long. If I leave, I think you'll have a way to find me." Sima Yue said, "You're leaving?" Tao Yixin said a little anxiously, "Since your main goal in coming here is to find them, I'll send people to help you find them. You just have to wait here for the results." "I can't wait any longer." Sima Yue said, "Instead of being anxious here, why don't I go out and search? You said that they're very good at alchemy and medicine?" Tao Yixin asked. "Yes. What about it? If that's really the case, they might be participating in the Crimson Pearl Convention." "Crimson Pearl Convention? What's that?" Sima Yue asked. "It was a conference about medicinal herbs and alchemy. The people on this island are far too bored. They always like to find something to do and satisfy their vanity at the same time, making it seem as if the people here are more powerful than the outsiders." Tao Yixin said sarcastically, "You think that my master and the others will participate in this Crimson Tree meeting?" Sima Yue guessed. "Since your master and the others are experts in this field, they might participate or have participated in it before." "Participated in it before? I'm just guessing. If they had participated in it, they would have left behind some clues, and we might be able to start our investigation from there. Then I'll have to trouble you." Sima Yue said, "Where will the Crimson Bamboo meeting be held this year?" "The Crimson Bamboo meeting is always held in the 4 major cities. This year, it's White Tiger City's turn." White Tiger City. Sima Yue remembered that it was not easy to enter the city and said, "Is it impossible to enter White Tiger City now? Those with invitations are welcome." "Then can you help me get an invitation?" "Sure." Outsiders were invited by their families to participate in this event. Regardless of their strength or status, they could invite those who were qualified to participate. The Tao family was one of the top families in Vermilion Bird City, so they naturally had this qualification. "Thank you," Sima Yue said gratefully. "This is what we agreed on, so there's no need to thank me." Tao Yixin said, "I need a bit of time, so I'll give it to you tomorrow. There's still some time before the Crimson Pearl meeting, so there's still time. Also, I'll send people over to investigate first. Since there's a starting point, it should be much easier to investigate. Once there's news, I'll let you know." "All right." Tao Yixin did not sit for long before leaving. Right now, he had too many things to do. He had to quickly send people to investigate Su Jin and the others, so that he could give her news when she reached White Tiger City. The next day, Tao Ixin did not come, but he sent a guard to deliver an invitation. Sima Yue looked at the vermilion bird drawn on the invitation and thought of Qi Yan. If they knew that she really had a vermilion bird, what kind of expression would they have? Young Miss Yue, my master has instructed that if you encounter any danger and it's not convenient for you to come out, you are to release this signal flare into the air. Our people will rush over to save you. The guard took out a signal flare and handed it to Sima Yue. I understand. Sima Yue took the signal flare and said, "Goodbye." Sima Yue studied the signal flare in her hand and knew that he was doing her a favor. He knew that she had so many people, but she might not be able to use them. However, since he was doing her a favor, whether she used it or not was her own business. Since they had already received the invitation, they did not stay here any longer and went to find Guinda and the others to say goodbye. The other small families had already left, but the Guo family was still busy here. She could already see the signs of their eyes. "You're leaving already?" Guinda did not think that they would leave so soon. He thought that they would stay here to wait for news from Tao Yixian. We're going to participate in the Crimson Pearl Convention. Sima Yue said, although there's still a bit of time, we want to go to White Tiger City to take a look. That's good too. Then be careful on your way. If you need anything, just contact us. I hope that we'll have a chance to meet again. Guinda smiled. The world is big. We'll meet again. Goodbye. Guinda and the others watched as Sima Yue and the others left. Thinking about what happened after they met her, they felt rather emotional. It's really not bad for people to live like them. Guixian was a little envious. With power, you can do whatever you want. Now you know that there's always someone better than you, right? Work hard on your cultivation. Guinda spurred. When have I ever not worked hard? However, I feel that I can't be as carefree and casual as she is. Even when she needs help from others, she can make things better for herself. It's as if no matter how difficult things are, she can easily solve them. Wait for the clan to settle down, then you should go out and take a look. This world is very big. If you stay on this island, you'll be confined. Okay. It was said that White Tiger City's teleportation array was closed. Sima Yue and the others could only leave Vermilion Bird City and call out Chongming to fly towards White Tiger City. Luckily, Vermilion Bird City was in the south of the island and White Tiger City was in the west. The distance was not very far. Even if they rode on flying beasts, it did not take long. Halfway there, Little Lucky and the ancient spirit beast came back together. "Why is it only you? Where's Little Roar?" "He left with Big Sister and said that he'll come back later to find you. I missed you, so I came back." Sima Yue knew that Little Lucky was very clingy to her, and Little Roar loved to play. She did not think much of it and continued on with him. When they arrived at White Tiger City, they saw the towering city walls. On the city walls, there were carvings of white tigers. The carvings were vivid and lifelike, as if a white tiger was standing on the city walls, roaring towards the sky. Sima Yue focused on it, and suddenly thought of a question that she had never thought of before. If the vermilion bird was with her, then where were the other 3 spirit beasts? Chapter 16:35. Love, Azure Dragon of the East, White Tiger of the West, Vermilion Bird of the South, and Black Tortoise of the North. The 4 divine beasts used to be the guardian beasts of the continent, maintaining the balance of the world. The Vermilion Bird was with her, but where were the remaining Azure Dragon, White Tiger, and Black Tortoise? Also, why was Crimson Flame injured? When he met it, the egg was already dead. How many years had it been waiting there? Crimson Flame had never told him about this, and he had never thought about it. Now that he saw the White Tiger, he began to think about this problem. Crimson Flame was still hiding a lot of things from her. She decided that when she had time, she must ask Qi Yin clearly. However, she did not expect that before she could ask, someone else would come knocking on her door and drag her into another storm. Feng Zhixing and the others saw her staring blankly at the White Tiger statue. They knew that she must be thinking about something, so they didn't say anything and waited for her to come back to her senses. The guards of the city weren't happy with them standing there. "Hey, are you guys going into the city? You can't enter White Tiger City now, so go somewhere else." These people were obviously outsiders. Outsiders without invitations were not allowed to enter. These people had been standing here for so long, they definitely did not have invitations. Sima Yue retracted her gaze from the white tiger statue, walked to the guard, and took out her invitation card. You have an invitation? The guard was a little surprised, but he still took the invitation and looked at it. Vermilion Bird Cities, Tao, family? I've never heard of them inviting anyone. Sima Yue did not say anything. There was no need to answer such a question. As expected, after the guard confirmed the authenticity of the invitation, he returned it to her and said, "Since you are here to participate in the Crimson Pearl Convention, you may enter." Sima Yue smiled at him and thanked him. Then, she led the others in. The guards of White Tiger City are pretty good. This means that the people in White Tiger City are not bad, Su Xiao said. When we went out for a stroll, we heard that the Vermilion Bird City and White Tiger City's relationship was rather hostile. We were recommended by the Vermilion Bird City, and they didn't make things difficult for us. Han Miaoshuang said, "There's such a thing." Yes. Anyway, there are some powers in Vermilion Bird City that don't have good family values, so I think they might have done something annoying. We were only invited to participate in the competition. Of course, they wouldn't make things difficult for us. Sima Yue said, "But this White Tiger City is really fair. Almost all the houses here were built with white stones. Occasionally, they would be decorated with other colors, but they were very rare. Let's find a place to stay," Huang Yingying said. However, they wandered around for a whole day, from morning to night, but they did not find a single vacant inn. In addition to outsiders, people from other places also came here, so the inns were all full. Although some inns were not full, the entire inn had been booked, so they could not stay there. Let's ask this one again. If it doesn't work, we can only sleep on the streets. Han Miaoshuang said dejectedly. Let's give it a try. There must be a way. Sima Yue did not expect the inn to be so popular. They entered the inn and saw the shopkeeper behind the counter. Before they could speak, they heard the shopkeeper say, "I'm sorry, dear guests. Our inn has been booked." Booked again? This result was not unexpected. Sigh, looks like we really have to sleep on the streets today. Sleeping on the streets, this is the first time in my life. These people could be considered to have lived a life of luxury. Now that they were sleeping on the streets, the image did not look good. "Don't you have any more rooms?" A clear voice came from the side. Everyone looked up and saw a lady in a light yellow dress walking down the stairs. The shopkeeper saw the lady and bowed. "Miss Xue Wu, why did you come down? I'm missing a medicinal ingredient, so I want to take a look at the medicinal ingredient store." Mo Xue Wu replied, then looked at Han Miaoshuang and said, "You said you were going to sleep on the streets. We've been looking for an inn for a whole day. If it's not full, it's booked." Han Miaoshuang shrugged helplessly. "This happens every time the Crimson Pearl Convention. Didn't you book it in advance?" Mo Xue Wu felt that she was being rude after speaking. "Sorry, I didn't notice that you were outsiders. Did you just come to the island?" "Yes." "No wonder you're not familiar with this." Mo Xue Wu smiled. "At this time, I'm afraid there aren't any more inns in the entire White Tiger City." Sima Yue and the others looked at each other. As expected, this was the result. "How about this, shopkeeper? We seem to have a few rooms left. Let them stay," Mo Xue Wu said. "As long as Miss Xue Wu agrees, then there's no problem. However, there aren't enough rooms. You may have to squeeze in. Some people want 2 people to a room." The shopkeeper said, "That's no problem. Compared to sleeping on the streets, this is nothing." Su Xiao said, "Then we'll have to thank Miss Xue Wu. They were really grateful to this lady. I'm called Mo Xue Wu. You can call me Xue Wu." Mo Xue Wu smiled. "You can stay first. Since you're all here to participate in the Crimson Pearl Convention, I'll definitely look for you to discuss later. I'm going to buy a medicinal ingredient, so I'll leave first." After speaking, she smiled at everyone and walked past them out of the inn. "Shopkeeper, who was that young lady just now? She's so nice." Han Miaoshuang asked. "That's Azure Dragon City's Mo clan's eldest, Miss Mo Xue Wu." The Mo clan is a kind-hearted clan. Aaron was booked by the Mo clan. The shopkeeper said, "Now that Miss Xue Wu has agreed, follow me. I'll arrange rooms for you." A kind-hearted clan? The shopkeeper's choice of words was a little subtle. However, this Mo Shui Wu was really kind-hearted. The rest of the Mo clan are staying upstairs. Now there are only a few rooms left. The shopkeeper said, the lighting in these rooms isn't good and they're smaller. That's why they're empty. However, they're still very clean. As long as they're clean, everything else isn't important. Huang Yingying said, because there weren't enough rooms. In the end, Grandpa and Grandma shared a room, Master and Father shared a room, Su Xiao and Jiang Junxian shared a room, Sima Yue and Han Miao Shuang shared a room, and Great Master Ji and Little Doll shared a room. Not long after they settled in, there was a commotion outside. When they looked out of the window, they realized that the other young masters of the Mo clan had returned. The shopkeeper told them about the strangers that Mo Shui Wu had left behind. Those young masters only furrowed their brows slightly, but didn't say anything. They didn't chase them away. Looks like the shopkeeper was right. The people of the Mo clan are kind-hearted. Han Miao Shuang said as she closed the window, with absolute power, we're not afraid of encountering thieves. Sima Yue said with a smile. Besides, if that's the case, why hasn't anyone else heard anything about it? That's true. In the private room, Sima Yue and the other three looked at each other and memorized the names of the Wu family and the Hao family. As for the people outside, they no longer talked about Su Jin and the others, but instead talked about other matters related to the Crimson Pearl Convention. Sima Yue and the others stayed in the tea house until the people outside left. They didn't get any useful information, so they had to go back. That night, Sima Yue also received a message from Tao Yixian. Sima Yue felt that there was movement outside her room and chased after it. After a few turns, she finally saw a person who was completely covered in night clothes. Young Miss Yue. The person cupped his hands towards Sima Yue. You're one of Tao Yixian's people? She asked. Yes. Young Master sent me to deliver something to young Miss Yue. The black-clothed person replied. Deliver what? The black-clothed person didn't reply, but took out a letter and threw it at her. Sima Yue caught it, but the person took the chance to slip away. Before he left, he reminded her to be careful of a tail. Sima Yue was startled. She was sure that there was no one following her on the way here. How could there be a tail? However, when she turned around, she did see a young master dressed in white in the distance. Sima Yue knew this person. He was a young master of the Mo family. Both parties' eyes met, but there was no awkwardness at all. Sima Yue walked over and bowed to the young master of the Mo family, saying, Young Master Mo, why have you come? I heard some movement and thought that something had happened, so I came over to take a look. Young Master Mo said, Young Miss Sima has a good relationship with the Tao family? Sima Yue knew why he would ask this. It was probably because they were left behind by the young miss of the Mo family. He was afraid that they would use Mo Shui Wu's kindness to harm them. It was said that the young master of the Han family doted on her. Initially, she disdained to explain herself, but she didn't know why, but she thought of Sima Yuming and the others. They doted on her in every possible way. She threw the letter in her hand over. The letter hadn't been opened yet, so Sima Yue hadn't read it yet. Young Master Mo hesitated for a moment, but he still opened it. After he finished reading it, he handed the letter back apologetically. The letter described everything that Tao Yixian had found out about Su Jin and the others. There wasn't anything else that he had guessed. I'm so sorry. He apologized for reading her letter, as well as for his suspicions toward her. Sima Yue took the letter. She wasn't angry and smiled. Young Miss Shui has a few good brothers. I have a few good brothers as well, so I can understand young Master Mo's feelings and thoughts. When she said this, the relationship between the two of them became much closer. They agreed to go back together. You came to the Lost Island to look for master and teacher? Mo Shuiyang asked. That's right. Sima Yue nodded. They took first place in the Crimson Pearl Convention for Alchemy and Medicine. Does young Master Mo know about them? Su Jin and Gulang? Mo Shuiyang was a little surprised. The letter just now only mentioned your master and teacher, so it didn't mention their names. That's right. You know about them as well? Sima Yue looked at him, with hope in her eyes. If he knew anything, he might be able to give her some clues. However, he shook his head. I didn't participate the last time. I only heard of their names. I see. Sima Yue felt a little disappointed. It seemed like she had to start investigating from the news that she got today. However, I saw that the letter mentioned the Hao clan. If you meet them one day, you must be careful. Mo Shuiyang said. Why? The Hao clan is the biggest clan in Black Tortoise City, but their way of doing things is not flattering. They are very strong, so you should be careful. Mo Shuiyang reminded her. I know. Thank you for your reminder. If we really meet, I will be careful. Sima Yue nodded. They returned to the inn together and happened to meet Sima, Lu Xian, and the others who were preparing to look for them. Yue, are you okay? Although Sima Lu Xian was asking Sima Yue, his eyes were looking at Mo Shuiyang. Chapter 16:37. Love. If Sima Yue said that she was bullied, he would definitely teach that person a lesson. Dad, I'm fine. I just went out for a while and happened to run into young Master Mo on my way back. So we came back together, Sima Yue said. Really? Feng Zhixing also looked doubtful. All right, what are you guys doing? Father, Master, I have something to tell you. Let's go back to our room first. After Sima Yue finished speaking, she nodded apologetically at Mo Shuiyang and pulled them away. Seeing her like this, Mo Shuiyang smiled. This appearance was really similar to Shui Wu in front of them. It seemed that she was also someone who was doted on by everyone. Only such a person would act coquettishly in front of her elders and have such a happy smile on her face. Sima Yue pulled the two of them back to the room and called the others over as well. Then, she took out the letter that Tao Yixin had given her and showed it to everyone. The letter said that Su Jin and the others obtained first place back then and were invited to the Wu family as guests. However, on that day, they had truly left. However, they had disappeared without a trace. Tao Yixin guessed that it was very likely that the Hao family had taken a fancy to them and had captured them to be imprisoned. If it's true, then the Hao clan is going too far. Thinking about how people like Su Jin and the others were imprisoned by force and could only move around in a very small place, Han Miao Shuang and the others were furious. Sima Yue looked at the letter and felt that something was wrong. She took out a basin and poured water into it. Soon, a page appeared on the back of the letter. The Hao family has strong roots and is ruthless in their actions. In the past, they have imprisoned many people. Therefore, your master and the others are most likely imprisoned. What the Hao clan did was dishonorable, so once they were imprisoned, it was impossible for them to come out on their own. If he wanted to save them, he would have to go deep inside to rescue them. Also, I found out where they're keeping those people captive. Behind it were some simple maps. In that case, we have to think of a way to enter the Hao family. If Master and the rest are really trapped inside, we can only break through from the inside. Sima Yue said. However, it won't be easy to enter the Hao clan. Otherwise, Tao Yixin wouldn't have reminded us that it was us. Huang Yingying said. It's actually very easy, Sima Yue said. What do you mean? Just as Han Miao Shuang asked, she suddenly thought of something and her eyes widened. You want to use the same method to enter? It says that the Hao family is very interested in those geniuses. If we can attract their attention, it will naturally be easy. Sima Yue said, so, no matter who it is, someone has to get first place in this competition. You don't have to worry about that. I know your medical skills. Who can compare to you? You can definitely get first place. As for alchemy, we will do our best. If you can get first place, we can help you when we go in. If we can't get it, we'll go to the Spirit Pagoda with you. Jiang Junxian said. Yes, let's do it. Sima Yue nodded. For the rest of the time, they did not go out again and continued to study the Crimson Pearl Association. Later on, Tao Yixin sent another message. He was more certain and more detailed than the last time. After Sima Yue saw the message, she silently stared at the tea on the table for a long time. A few days later, the Crimson Pearl Association officially began. Sima Yue and the Mo family went to the competition venue. She never thought that she would actually see a familiar face here. When Eastern Lai Li saw Sima Yue, she was first stunned, Then her eyes were filled with uncontrollable hatred and killing intent. She wanted to kill her. Sima Yue did not know what this young miss went through, to the point that she did not even bother to hide the killing intent in her eyes. Could it be that she forgot that she was the one who saved her from Supreme, Fifth Spirit Senior? She sighed in her heart. Back then, she knew that she saved an ingrate. Now that she thought about it, she was right. And beside her was another person she did not want to see, Northern Du Hao. When Northern Du Hao saw Xiao Shi, who was hanging on Sima Yue, his eyes narrowed. His gaze was complicated. That day, he had almost died at the hands of Supreme, Fifth Spirit Senior. If he had not taken advantage of the time, when Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior was distracted and used a secret technique to tear open space and bring him away, he would not have the chance to stand here and look at this fellow who looked exactly like Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior. When Sima Yue saw the two of them whispering to each other, she was a little surprised. Why were the two of them together? Weren't the two of them on bad terms? Could it be that something big had happened in this short period of time? She did not seem to have heard any news. What she did not know was that although it was a small matter in her eyes, it was a big matter in the eyes of others. Of course, if she knew that Eastern Lai Li had been rejected by Xian Xiu when she confessed to him, and that Eastern Lai Li had guessed that the person he liked was her, she would only laugh. Some people, even if they did not do anything, their existence would be an eyesore to others. I heard that the two of them are already engaged. Northern Du clan and Eastern Lai clan are finally connected by marriage, Mo Shui Wu said when she saw her sizing up the two of them. Engaged? When Sima Yue heard this news, she was even more surprised. Didn't Eastern Lai Li like Xian Xiu, he to no end? Why would she be engaged to Northern Du Hao? That's right. Mo Shui Wu nodded. She looked at Eastern Lai Li with disdain. Let me tell you, the people from the hidden clans are not good people. That girl said that she liked Xian Xiu, but Xian Xiu rejected her. In a blink of an eye, she went into the arms of another man. Rejected? When did this happen? Not long ago. Mo Shui Wu said, Why, do you know them? I guess so. Then you have to be careful. I see that the way they look at you is not right. Mo Shui Wu reminded her softly. Little junior sister, I told you. This kind of person should not be saved. You saved her, but she still wants to kill you. Why did you save her? Han Miao Shuang hated Eastern Lai Li. Mo Shui Wu looked at Sima Yue in surprise. You saved her before? Initially, I didn't want to save her. But on account of Xian Xiu, I took her with me. After Sima Yue finished speaking, she briefly explained what happened in the ancient mines. TSK. Even like this girl still wants to kill you. She really is. Mo Shui Wu shook her head. She did not have a good impression of Eastern Lai Li. You know those hidden clans? This time, it was Sima Yue's turn to ask her. The hidden clans have always been in contact with the Lost Lands, so I know them. But I never liked this girl. I didn't expect her to be such a person who bites the hand that feeds her. Mo Shui Wu looked down on Eastern Lai Li even more. Chapter 1638. Love, Sima Yue and Mo Shui Wu chatted for a while before shifting their attention. Although they knew each other, there was no need to waste time on them. However, she still had some thoughts in her heart. She even released a few scarlet bees to follow them carefully. After all, the killing intent in her eyes was so obvious. What a narrow-minded woman. Alas, it's really only vile people and women that are hard to deal with. It was only when they entered the venue that Sima Yue realized that other than the Northern Du clan and the Eastern Lai clan, the other hidden clans had also come. It seemed like only the Xian Xiu clan did not send anyone over. Sima Yue had mixed feelings when she thought about the Xian Xiu family. She didn't know if Xian Xiu was punished by the clan. After that incident, she was afraid that the next time they met, they wouldn't be able to be as carefree as now. So let's go in. The competition is about to start. Mo Shui Wu urged. The three arenas were not in the same place, so Sima Yue and Jiang Junxian separated. They went to participate in the alchemy competition, and she came to participate in the medical competition. Immerse was also participating in the medical competition. The two of them entered the venue together. Yue, they'll be bringing some patients out in a while. Almost all of them having curable diseases. When the time comes, everyone will be given 10 patients. We'll see who can finish the treatment faster or who can treat the most patients. 10 difficult and complicated diseases. This was considered fair. It was impossible for someone to be so lucky as to draw 10 handy items. Of course, it was impossible for them to keep treating the patient, so there was a time limit of 10 days. During these 10 days, they had to stay here with the patient. Or, if all 10 of them were cured, they could also leave early. Sima Yue and Immerse went to the registration area together. The registration was already done there. Seeing them go over, she told them to wait at the side. When everyone arrived, she took out a bamboo tube for everyone to draw lots. There was a corresponding number on the stick. Every doctor took the stick and went to the place where the patient was picked up. Those patients had already been divided into groups. Then, the supervisor took the doctor's lot and looked at the numbers on it. He assigned the corresponding patients to them and asked them to bring them to the prepared rooms. Sima Yue drew number 14, while Immerse drew number 49. The two of them were rather far apart from each other because the rooms they were going to see the patients were also corresponding to this room. Yue, I know you're amazing. They didn't have a chance to spar before, so this could be considered an opportunity to compete. Good luck. Good luck to you too. Sima Yue brought the patient with number 14 to room 14. These rooms were all temporarily set up. There were no doors, so the people outside could see the situation inside like the back of their hand. Sima Yue asked each of them to choose a bed to lie down on. She did not start the treatment immediately. Instead, she took out their medical records and started to study them. Out of the 10 of them, every single one of them was really difficult to treat. She had never even come into contact with 2 of them before. However, she wasn't worried. The situation of these 10 people wasn't difficult for her. Even if she hadn't come into contact with the 2 people, she still had some theoretical knowledge. Sima Yue roughly checked the pulses of the 10 people first and compared them with the medical records in her hands. She confirmed that every patient situation was as described on the medical records. Unlike her, the other doctors did not look at all the medical records together. Instead, they chose one and studied the medical records, checked the pulse, treated the patient, and prescribed medicine. After treating the patient, they would then move on to the next patient. The previous patients were also like this. Therefore, Sima Yue treating 10 people at the same time was an anomaly in everyone's eyes. Some people began to whisper, saying that she was trying to impress the crowd. Some people thought of another person through her. The first place in the previous batch also treated 10 people at the same time. However, in the end, there were still some people who were a little lacking and did not completely meet the requirements. There was one thing that was similar to the previous time. That was, both of them were outsiders. Previously, everyone thought that the person called Gulang was too arrogant in the beginning. However, when the results were revealed later, they realized that he really had the ability. Now, this outsider chose to use the same method as him. However, they did not know if she could achieve the same results. Immerse heard the discussions outside and knew that a very powerful person had appeared this time. However, she did not know who it was. She immediately thought of Sima Yue. However, she shook her head. She knew Sima Yue's age. She was not even 100 years old. How could she be the genius that those people were talking about? Thinking of this, she stopped paying attention to the situation outside and focused on treating the patients in front of her. It had to be said that Immerse was really a kind person. Normally, when a young lady from a big family saw these patients, she would have already vomited her New Year's dinner. However, not only did she not vomit, she even sympathized with them. The wounds were already infected with maggots. These people must be in so much pain. Otherwise, these people's internal organs would be injured. How tragic. Her sympathy flowed out as if it was free. She tried her best to be gentle when treating their wounds. However, Sima Yue was different. In order to obtain the first place, she had to be the first to treat these people to the standard. Because some diseases required a long time to be treated, 10 days was not enough. Therefore, there was a standard. As long as these people could be treated to the standard, they would pass. Therefore, she had to make the best use of her time. Therefore, she was not gentle when treating these people. However, she had already numbed them before the treatment, so they did not feel any pain. Every group of patients had different types of external and internal injuries. This was for the sake of fairness. Sima Yue quickly treated the two people with external injuries. She even gave them the pills that she had refined. Then, she let them rest at the side. In the end, these people's conditions were completely healed. This made everyone present exclaim in admiration. Of course, this was a story for later. After treating the external injuries, Sima Yue began to treat the other patients. These patients' conditions were more complicated. However, with the help of her silver needles and pills, they were more or less healed. By the time the last patient was cured, only 6 days had passed. She pulled the bell at the door, indicating that her treatment was finished. The judges could come and check her results. The judges were a little surprised. They had been judges for so many years, but it was their first time seeing someone finish the treatment on the 6th day. All the judges were curious. They wanted to see who could finish the treatment in such a short time. Therefore, Sima Yue's judges were the most complete in this competition. Sima Yue stood at the door. When the judges saw how young she was, they were all stunned. "Are you the doctor in this room?" Chapter 1639. Love. Sima Yue bowed to the judges and said, "Yes." "You've cured all of them?" "Yes." "Judges, please judge." Sima Yue retreated to the side after speaking. The first step was to verify the identities of these 10 people in order to prevent them from being swapped out. Soon they passed this test. These 10 people were indeed the 10 patients from before. Actually, this step was completely unnecessary. None of the rooms had doors, so the people outside could clearly see what was going on inside. Moreover, there was a person from the organizer guarding outside each room. "You want to switch people?" Not to mention the door, there wasn't even a window. After confirming the identities of the 10 people, they looked at the medical records of the 10 people. If they hadn't confirmed the identities of these people, they wouldn't have believed that these 10 people were terminally ill a few days ago. When the patients came out of the room one by one, the people outside would also read out their previous symptoms. When the onlookers saw the comparison, they immediately felt that the person inside was really a genius doctor. There were 10 patients, and the judges soon came up with the results of Sima Yue. Every patient had completed the treatment with high quality in such a short time. If she didn't get first place, the others could forget about getting first place. After Sima Yue was done, she did not leave. Instead, she sat down in the resting area and seemed to be waiting for someone. Her actions also let those people know that she was the godly doctor who had completed the test first. She sat in the resting area and leisurely made herself a pot of tea. She wondered if there were any members of the Hao family looking at her. Not to mention the Hao clan, a few other clans had also begun to extend olive branches to her. Many of them had sent her invitations, wanting to invite her to their residences as a guest after the Crimson Pearl Convention. Sima Yue looked at the pile of invitations and smiled. She picked out 2 of them and put them aside without saying anything. When Mo Xiuwu came out 2 days later, her invitation card was already half the height of a person. When Mo Xiuwu saw Sima Yue, who was resting, she froze for a moment before walking over with a smile. "I thought I would be able to get first place if I came out early. In that case, the person who is rumored to be a god by the people outside is you." Mo Xiuwu smiled and said, "Why are you still here? Didn't we agree that whoever came out first would wait for the other to leave together? How can I go back on my word?" Sima Yue kept the invitations into her space ring. Mo Xiuwu recalled their previous conversation. They had indeed agreed to leave together. However, she thought that she would wait for her when she came out, but she didn't expect that she would come out first. Let's go. Let's go back to the inn. I think the news of you being a genius doctor must have spread outside." Mo Xiuwu pulled her away from the doctor's passage. However, when they reached the exit, Sima Yue pulled Mo Xiuwu back. "We can't go out like this." She met Mo Shuewu's puzzled gaze and smiled. Listen, when Mo Shuewu heard this, she heard the clamor outside. Needless to say, there were definitely a lot of people guarding her outside. If she swaggered out like this, she would definitely be stopped. Then what should we do? Mo Shuewu gave her a helpless expression. Sima Yue grabbed her hand and smiled mysteriously at her. Then, she took her and disappeared from the passage. When the people who were chasing after them rushed over, they saw the two of them disappear. When Mo Shuewu returned to the inn, she still felt that it was a little unreal. She didn't seem to have felt the fluctuation of space just now. She looked at Sima Yue in shock, secretly thinking how powerful her space ability was. Sima Yue let go of her hand and smiled. It's much quieter now. However, they should be waiting for us outside the venue. Mo Shuewu said. Sima Yue remembered that the time for alchemy and poison skills was not as long as the medical skills, so they had already come out. They were just waiting for the medical skills to end, and this Crimson Pearl convention would come to an end. Thus, she took out the Mother Stone and contacted Sima, Lu Xian, and the others, telling them that she had already returned to the inn. Father and Master had indeed gone to the venue. When they found out that she had already returned, they immediately returned to the inn. Mo Shuewu had already gone upstairs to talk to Mo Shueyang and the others about the convention. When they talked about Sima Yue's miraculous medical skills, they were full of admiration, especially when they talked about the space ability she used to bring her back. Her eyes and words were filled with envy. Mo Shueyang smiled faintly. I didn't expect that Miss Sima to be so powerful despite looking so young. I really didn't expect it. Mo Shuewu replied. Although Mo Shueyang was chatting with his sister, his thoughts had drifted away. He knew what Sima Yue wanted to do. He had also seen the Hao clan from Tao Yixin's letter. Later on, he had sent people to investigate the matter of the previous champion. From the information he had gathered, he guessed that Su Jin and the others were most likely imprisoned in the Hao clan. Generally speaking, outsiders wouldn't fight for first place in the Crimson Pearl Convention because it would embarrass the people on the island. But this time and the previous time were a little special. He couldn't guess why Su Jin and the others got first place, but he could guess what Sima Yue's goal was. She definitely wanted to enter the Hao clan. But was it so easy to enter the Hao clan? If she wasn't careful, even he would be trapped inside. However, she had no choice but to do this. However, from this period of contact, he realized that Sima Yue was an extremely confident person. She definitely wouldn't do anything dangerous to put herself in a desperate situation. He was a little curious about her trump card. What made her so confident that she could leave the Hao clan safely? Thinking of this, his interest in Sima Yue was much stronger than he thought. After Sima Lu Xian and the others returned to the inn, they went straight to Sima Yue's room and told her some of the rumors that were circulating outside. Jiang Junxian and the others didn't get first place in the alchemy competition, so they could only wait together in their spirit bodies. But what surprised her was that Eastern Lai Li was first in the alchemy competition, and Northern Du Hao was first in the poison technique. Sima Yue knew that Eastern Lai Li was very good at alchemy, so she wasn't surprised that she got first place. What surprised her was that Northern Du Hao was actually a poison expert. What she couldn't understand was how both of them got first place this time. It was said that the Hidden Clan had never won in this kind of situation before. The people who were nurtured by the Hidden Clan were naturally not weak. They had never gotten first place before, so why did they change their style this time? She believed that this wasn't a coincidence. Junior sister, when we were refining pills, we realized that someone's alchemy method was taught by Master. Su Xiao said. Sima Yue was stunned and asked, "Is it someone from the Hao clan?" Chapter 1640. Love. He actually had the same method of refining pills as them. Didn't that mean that this person might have been taught by Su Jin? Unexpectedly, Jiang Junxian shook his head. No. Sima Yue was shocked. Then who is it? He's an outsider like us. But it seems like he has an invitation from the Hao family. Sima Yue sat at the table with her left hand supporting her chin while her right hand tapped on the table. Outsiders, she muttered. Will there be any rewards for winning a prize at your alchemy side? Of course. You doctors have it too. Han Miao Shuang said. Don't tell me you don't even know about this? Of course I know there are, but I'm only aiming for first place. I don't know what the rewards are. Sima Yue said. Also, what I'm asking is, do you guys have any special reward for refining pills? Nothing special. Han Miao Shuang thought for a moment. Those are very normal here, but to outsiders, they might be special. I'm guessing that the Hao family is using these people as shields. Sima Yue said. Now that the arrow is knocked, I'll go to the Hao clan to take a look. If not, we'll continue to investigate. That's all we can do now. That's right. Pay attention to the movements of the Eastern Lai clan and the Northern Du clan. I have a feeling that something is wrong with them, Sima Yue said. Something is wrong? Yes. Sima Yue nodded. In the past, the hidden tribes had always kept a low profile in the Lost Lands. However, they have become high profile now. Moreover, don't you find it strange that Eastern Lai Li and Northern Du Hao are together? The first time might be a coincidence, but the second time might be different. No matter what they want to do, as long as it doesn't involve us, we don't have to care. Feng Zhixing said. I'm just afraid that we will be implicated. Sima Yue sighed. It should be said that her intuition told her that it was very likely to involve her. Why? We met Eastern Lai Li and Northern Du Hao today. Both of them looked at Junior Sister with killing intent. Han Miao Shuang said. They want to kill you? Feng Zhixing's face was extremely dark. If I had known earlier, I would have asked Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior to kill her in the ancient mine. What? My father didn't kill that scum? Xiaoxi crawled out from behind Sima Yue. Why will my father do something so unreliable? Everyone, Sima Yue patted Xiaoxi's head and said, It's not that your father didn't kill him. I saved him from his hands. Xiaoxi stretched out his long arm and placed it on her forehead. Yu, was your brain damaged at that time? Ha ha ha. Everyone laughed. This little guy really knew how to add insult to injury. Sima Yue explained the situation and thought that Xiaoxi would understand. Unexpectedly, Xiaoxi nodded heavily and said, Looks like your brain wasn't damaged at that time. You must have had a stroke. Sima Yue, although you shouldn't have, you've been saved now. Feng Zhixing said. If they dare to do anything to you, even if they're from the hidden clans, we won't let them off. I think so too. If they don't do anything, we won't care. But if they dare to do anything, we'll make sure they won't be able to return. Everyone has to be careful these few days. If you want to go out, you must go out together. Don't go out alone. Also, once you meet them, no matter if they do anything, you must inform the others. Sima Yue reminded. We'll be careful about the hidden clans. But, Junior Sister, where are you going to Hao clan? Han Miao Shuang asked. The Hao clan's invitation has already been sent over. But I can't go openly. I'll leave them out for a few days first. Those who rushed over were not attractive. If they agreed from the start, would they still be imprisoned? Sima Yue chose a few big forces. In the next few days, she began to visit them one by one. Those people did not look down on her because she was an outsider. On the contrary, almost all the clans threw her an olive branch, hoping that she could stay in their clan. They would teach her how to cultivate here and provide her with abundant resources. However, she rejected all of them. The reason was that her clan was outside. She would not stay on the island. When she came out of the inn, she realized that someone was following her. The corner of her mouth curled up. The Hao clan couldn't hold back so quickly. For the sake of convenience, she turned into a small alley and was waiting for someone to make a move. She didn't expect that when she turned around, what she saw was not an attack, but a little white ball that was flying towards her. Just when it was less than a meter away from her, she stretched out her hand and caught it firmly. She gritted her teeth and said, "You still know to come back?" Little Roar was held by the neck by her. Its 4 short limbs were flailing in the air. Its 2 eyeballs rolled around and squeezed out 2 drops of tears. It said pitifully, "You, I missed you so much. When I saw you, I immediately ran over." Sima Yue would be a fool if she believed him. She poked him with her other hand. "You missed me? I think you're too happy to think about home. I didn't. I missed you. He wanted to use his little claws to pat his chest to assure her. However, his claws were too short and his posture was wrong. He couldn't pat it at all. Really? Sima Yue looked at him faintly. It's true. It's truer than real gold. Little Roar tried his best to make himself look like that. He would never admit that during this period of time, he had been eating and drinking well with the witch. Every day was very comfortable. Are you sure you're not here to be someone's lobbyist? Lobbyist? What lobbyist? Little Roar looked up at the sky with a confused expression. Sima Yue had already seen through his little thoughts. Chapter 1641. Love. Sima Yue followed the man into a tea house, which was not far from here. No wonder Little Roar said that he would look for her the moment he saw her, but she did not feel his presence on the road. The entire tea house was empty. Other than a few guards at the door, there weren't many people protecting it. She followed the man to a private room on the 3rd floor and heard him say to the person inside, "Master, I've brought you away. Come in." It was a familiar voice, but it carried a different kind of laziness. Sima Yue pushed the door open. When she saw the two people inside, she was stunned. She wasn't surprised by Helmsman Ta, but she was surprised that Miko-sama was also quietly drinking tea. When Little Roar saw a witch, he flew out of the door and landed beside the pastries in front of her. "What are you standing there for? Weren't you the one who told Little Roar and the others to coax her to come out and walk around so that she wouldn't interfere with the Tao family's matters?" Tua Xiaogong indifferently said. At this time, Miko-sama also raised her head and looked at her, but there was no blame in her eyes. She smiled and walked over to sit opposite them. When she saw Little Roar, she had already guessed that the witch was here. What she was surprised about was that the witch, with her otherworldly appearance, was actually sitting quietly in this downtown area drinking tea. Shouldn't she only eat the wind and rain? She didn't know how Tua Xiaogong knew about the Tao family, but judging from his appearance, his identity wasn't simple. "Do you want to enter the Hao family?" Tua Xiaogong ignored her silence and continued to ask. "Yes." Sima Yue did not hide it. Since he knew about the Tao family, it was not strange for him to know about this. "Do you know anything about the Hao family?" "Understood. From your booklet," Sima Yue said. Tua Xiaogong was just thinking that this little girl actually understood the Hao family so quickly. It was really good. He didn't expect that she would say the second half of the sentence. His brain almost couldn't turn around. "Since you know the ins and outs of the Hao family, then you should know how dangerous what you are about to do is, right? Do you need my help?" Young Tua asked respectfully. Sima Yue looked up at him. "As long as I help, your master and teacher will be able to come out safely." Tua Xiaogong said confidently. "What are your conditions?" "Lord Island Master." Sima Yue said slowly. "How do you know my identity?" Young Tua asked respectfully. According to the information he got, she didn't deliberately ask about him. "I guessed." Sima Yue did not intend to elaborate. "Tell me your conditions first." If Tua Xiaogong could help, then she wouldn't have to go. Of course, the prerequisite was that she could accept the conditions. "Actually, it's nothing, as long as you agree to stay for a few years," Tua Xiaogong said. He felt that his condition was simple and easy to fulfill. Sima Yue should not reject him. However, he didn't expect Sima Yue to reject him without even thinking about it. "I still have things to do. I can't stay here," she said. "Although I can have less trouble with this matter if you help me, I have more important things to do outside." Tua Xiaogong was not angry. He pointed at Little Roar and said, "Then leave this little guy here for a few years. He doesn't have the strength nor the ability. He only knows how to eat, drink, and play all day long. He's not useful for what you want to do. It doesn't matter if he's not by your side." Little Roar, who was eating pastries with his mouth full, felt a sense of danger. He didn't even have time to wipe his mouth before he threw himself into Sima Yue's embrace. You can't leave me here alone." He grabbed onto Sima Yue's clothes and looked at her pitifully. Although Sima Yue didn't have such thoughts, He knew that he only knew how to play outside. What if you agreed? If he knew, he would have come back with Little Lucky. Tuo Xiaogong looked at her and waited for her to make a decision. This time, she didn't reject him directly. Why do you want to leave Little Roar here? She asked. Leave it for Little Witch. It's rare to see what she likes. Tuo Xiaogong said. Then why don't you choose Little Lucky? Although Little Lucky is following you, you don't have the right to decide. If you choose him, you definitely won't agree. But this little guy is different. You are his contracted master. Whatever you ask him to do, he won't dare to disobey. Tuo Xiaogong said slowly. With the restriction of the contract, contracted beasts couldn't disobey any of their master's requests. Little Roar's body stiffened. He had never thought of this problem because Yu treated him extremely well. She never asked him to do anything he didn't like. But if she really ordered him to stay here, he wouldn't be able to reject her. Thinking of this, his entire body became listless. He didn't even have the energy he had before. Sima Yue saw him like this and stopped teasing him. She said to Tuo Xiaogong, Little Roar has been by my side since he was young. If you separate him from me, he will probably be like this every day. You guys won't like him like this, right? When Little Roar heard her say this, he was happy. However, he still cooperated with her and acted as if he had nothing to live for. Forget it. The one who spoke was the witch. Sima Yue smiled. Actually, I think you should go outside and take a look. Maybe you'll see a different world. Go outside? That's right. You've always been on the island. You don't know what the outside world is like. You also don't know what the people outside live like. If you go to more places, maybe you'll have a different view on some things. Sima Yue said, Also, doesn't our island master always want to go out and play? It's good that he can be your companion. Tuo Xiaogong's face darkened. How could this little girl say that? He was a diligent island master. How could he go out and play all the time? He only did it occasionally. Occasionally. However, going out to play, this idea wasn't bad. The witch and Tuo Xiaogong had known each other for a long time. Seeing his expression, she knew that he was moved. But going out to play? She had never done this kind of thing before. Sister Wu, go. Let me tell you, the outside world is really good. There are so many fun things to play with and so many good things to eat. Although those things aren't as good as you use. But Sima Yue couldn't stand Little Roar's noise and used her hand to cover his mouth. Little Wu, since the Crimson Pearl Convention has ended, there's nothing to do on the island. Why don't we go out and play? Tuo Xiaogong said. All right, then. Then we're leaving now? Tuo Xiaogong, said the wind and rain. You're not going to care about this matter? This matter was originally a grudge between her and the Hao clan. Why are we getting involved? Little girl, as long as you don't sink this island, it's fine. Tuo Xiaogong's first sentence was for the witch, and the second sentence was for Sima Yue. Sima Yue smiled and agreed. As long as she didn't sink the island, it was fine. He gave her quite a lot of authority. Chapter 1642. Love. Tuo Xiaogong pulled Miko-sama away, leaving the guard who brought her here to send them back. After the bodyguard sent her back, he said before leaving, Miss Yue, my master said that if you are in danger, you can contact us. After saying that, he left his contact information. Sima Yue watched him leave and threw the item in her hand into her spear pagoda. Didn't Tuo Xiaogong know about her because he sent someone to follow her? Although he didn't interfere with her work, the feeling of being stared at all times was still uncomfortable. However, she did not have the ability to stop others from following her. When she turned around, there was a sudden movement in the spirit pagoda. After receiving the news from Han Miao Shuang and the others, her face was filled with rage. She didn't care that she was still at the entrance of the inn, with people coming and going, and directly disappeared. Ever since the Crimson Pearl Convention, White Tiger City had been unsealed, so everyone could enter and leave as they pleased. Han Miao Shuang and the others also left the city, but they didn't expect to be stopped the moment they returned to the outskirts. Seeing that it was Eastern Lai Li and Northern Du Hao, Han Miao Shuang didn't say anything. She immediately took out the thing Sima Yue gave her and crushed it. Sima Yue would receive the news at the same time. Eastern Lai Li naturally noticed the movements of Han Miao's hands, but she didn't say anything. You want reinforcements? Northern Dew Howl looked at them with disdain. That's just right. Let's get rid of you first. When she got the news and rushed over, she would see your corpses. When the time came, he would just kill her. Ha ha! Who do you want to kill? Sima Yue's voice came from the sky. Then she appeared in front of Han Miao Shuang and the others. How can you be so fast? Eastern Lai Li and Northern Du Hao were slightly surprised. Their men had been following her all this time, and they had just transmitted that she was in the city. How could she suddenly appear here? The two of them then realized that she had appeared silently just now, which meant that her spatial technique was already above theirs. Sima Yue looked at the two of them and sneered. Both of you are about to kill my senior brothers and sisters. How can I not be faster? Otherwise, we'll only see their corpses when we come. You can't change anything even if you come here. Northern Du Hao didn't understand Sima Yue's strength. So in his opinion, Sima Yue was just to get rid of one more person. However, Eastern Lai Li didn't think so. Although she didn't know Sima Yue's background, she had an indescribable fear towards Sima Yue. From a moment she entered the ancient mine to the time she came out, she was completely unscathed. Although Xin Xiu, he took care of her, if it was someone else, they might not have such an ending. Sima Yue wasn't angry at their contempt. Yue, but Yue. When Yue, alone. Sima Yue sneered. I have to say you guys are too conceited. You dare to kill us with just two people. Is that so? Sima Yue thought, and Sima Lu Xian and the others appear behind her. With another wave of her hand, the elders of the Egret clan also appeared. No matter what method we use, we can't let them escape today, Sima Yue said. Not to mention anything else, these two people repaid kindness with enmity and wanted to kill them for no reason. She didn't want to let them go just because of this. Not to mention, these two people were vengeful. If they let them escape today, they would never have peace in the future. However, these two people were the geniuses of the hidden clans and had many life-saving things on them. Back then, they were able to escape from Supreme Fifth Spirit Senior. Today, she wanted to kill them here, so she had no choice but to call for more people. No matter what, they couldn't let them escape today. Eastern Lai Li and Northern Du Hao were shocked when they saw so many people. Then they said faintly, "It seems that we have underestimated you. However, you want to kill us with so few people? That's too whimsical." With a wave of his hand, a few people wearing black cloaks appeared beside them. Undead. Although Su Xiao and the others had never seen the undead outside, they had seen many in the Spirit Pagoda, so they could recognize these undead. Northern Du Hao smiled coldly. Don't worry, when you die, you will become like them. Disgusting. Han Miao Shuang waved her hand in disgust. Let's quickly get rid of these undead. Sima Yue looked at Northern Du Hao. He actually had undead. So was the Northern Du clan the mastermind behind this? No matter what, her thoughts had changed. She couldn't kill Northern Du Hao for the time being, so she couldn't get any clues about the undead. Let me deal with the undead. Kill the women and leave the men, Sima Yue said. Although they were a little surprised that she changed her mind, everyone still listened to her. So when they were dealing with Eastern Lai Li, they didn't hold back and used all their killing moves. But when they were dealing with Northern Du Hao, they were much gentler. At least when they could break his limbs, they didn't stab his heart. And on Sima Yue's side, from the start, she controlled the death aura on the undead. The undead that were about to show off their skills suddenly stood still on the spot, as if someone had grabbed their lifeline. It wasn't that they didn't move, they were just standing there and being killed. Northern Du Hao was being pressured step by step. Just as he was wondering why the undead didn't move, he turned his head and saw that the undead were out of control. Sima Yue looked over and happened to see his incredulous eyes. Northern Du Hao, don't you know that fiddling with the undead in front of me is like holding a lantern in a latrine pit? She smiled very gently, but Northern Du Hao's eyes widened. Because the ghost aura on her body was so pure, it was even different from the usual cold ghost clan. Her ghost aura had a noble aura that made people want to worship her. It was no wonder that those undead were controlled by her. How could the death aura have any advantage against the ghost aura? Without the death aura, there was naturally no point in keeping the undead. If he cared about Sima Yue, he only needed to check on her, and he would know that she had the blood of the ghost clan in her body. So, would he still dare to expose the undead in front of her? While he was distracted, Eastern Lai Li's arm was pierced, and she couldn't help but cry out. When Northern Du Hao saw this, he didn't have the mood to be distracted. Today, he was outnumbered and couldn't continue fighting. He wanted to cut open the void and escape, but he realized that the space had been silently frozen. He subconsciously looked at Sima Yue. She was the only one who had the ability to use the power of space that she had displayed earlier. However, before he could think of a countermeasure, Sima Yue did another thing that made them even more shocked. Chapter 1643. Only to see Sima Yue spread out her hands with her palms facing upwards as a surge of power poured out. Everyone present recognized that this was her releasing her own domain. A person who hadn't even reached the monarch realm had actually comprehended a domain. Eastern Lai Li and Northern Du Hao looked at Sima Yue with a complicated gaze. Even they were unable to catch up to such talent, especially when such a person was a low-key enemy. If they were friends, they wouldn't have to be so hostile. If they had known that she had these trump cards, they wouldn't have come to kill her so unprepared. Seriously, other people would want everyone to know about their talents. Why was Sima Yue so low-key? Although the others present knew that she had a domain, this was the first time they had seen it, and they were all surprised. See Sima Xiao Qi sighed. This domain is bigger than ours, and also more stable. Isn't that so? Huang Yingying said so, but the smile on her face deepened. Sima Lu Xian and Feng Zhixing looked at each other and saw the unwillingness in each other's eyes. They were actually defeated by a junior. Their father and master were a little inferior. Looks like I'll have to work harder in the future. As for Han Miao Shuang and Su Xiao Xiao, they could only stare blankly. It was really too amazing. Sima Yue did not think about what they were thinking. Instead, she opened up a part of her domain and covered everyone. Only then did they realize that everyone was stunned. She frowned slightly and said, "Grandpa, Grandma, now is not the time to daydream." It was only after she spoke that the others regained their senses and continued to attack Eastern Lai Li and the other person. In her domain, she suppressed the strength of Eastern Lai Li and the others. Very quickly, she was pierced through the heart by Feng Zhixing. Eastern Lai Li didn't expect that she would die here today. The Lost Lands. She had lost her life here. Even when she collapsed, her eyes were still wide open. She really died with her eyes wide open. Northern Du Hao was quickly taken down by them. Of course, at this time, he was just breathing out more than he was breathing in. Sima Yue threw the remaining corpses, Eastern Lai Li's corpse, and Northern Du Hao into the spirit pagoda. Then, she kept everyone else inside as well. Keep him alive, she instructed little spirit. At this moment, she was not in the mood to deal with the undead. As long as he entered the spirit pagoda, he would really be begging for death. Sima Yue cleaned up the battlefield and left quickly. After a while, someone rushed over after hearing the commotion. That was indeed the aura of a domain just now. I wonder which venerable is fighting here. No matter how they guessed, they would never think that it was Sima Yue. Just in case, Sima Yue came back not long after she left and hid in the crowd. Seeing that those people were all talking about the enchantment she had cast at the end and that they didn't know it was her, she felt relieved and left. However, after entering the city, she sadly realized that she was being followed. He just didn't know when this person started following him. If he saw the scene of him killing someone, it would be troublesome. However, she immediately denied this conjecture. At that time, she had included a radius of 1 kilometer into her domain. If there was really someone here, she would not know. Thinking about it this way, this person must have started following her when they were watching the commotion. She entered the city and directly returned to the inn. After returning to her room, she called them out. However, They weren't as happy as before after winning the battle. Instead, they were all a little depressed. What's wrong? Sima Yue asked curiously. Why did these people become unhappy after entering? In the end, it was Sima Lu Xian who spoke. That Northern Du Hao is a tough nut to crack. We have so many people, and took turns to ask him, but we didn't get any information from him about the undead. Did you torture him? Sima Yue asked. Yes, you said that as long as he's still breathing, it's fine. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that. Sima Yue said, it's just that Northern Du Hao's body has some death aura, so his body shouldn't feel pain. Since he couldn't feel pain, it was useless to him. I also tried to use the method you said to invade his divine sense, but I found that his sea of consciousness was restricted. As long as I touched it, his sea of consciousness might shatter. Feng Zhixing was also very disappointed, feeling that he was useless. If a person's sea of consciousness was shattered, then he could only become a fool, and he would never know about the undead's memories. Because even he himself wouldn't think about it. No wonder they were so dispirited. Coercion and bribery didn't work. Northern Du Hao could be said to be a piece of iron. After thinking it through, she smiled and said, there's no rush. When I entered the city, I felt that I was being followed. That means the big fish is about to take the bait. Han Miao Shuang said excitedly. Sima Yue nodded. But we can't just take the bait. We can move on to the next step of the plan. On the second day, Sima Yue and the others went to check out. When the Mo family came to check out, they found out that Sima Yue and the others were invited by the Black Tortoise City's Wu family to be guests. When Mo Shuiyang heard this news, his eyebrows twitched subconsciously, sighing that she still did it in the end, making the people around him confused. They were just there as guests, not going to climb a mountain of swords or plunge into a sea of fire. Why did young master sigh like that? Mo Shuiyang didn't explain anything. He just asked people to pay attention to Black Tortoise City to see if there was anything interesting. Sima Yue and the others stood in front of the Wu family's gate, looking at the majestic stone lion, suddenly feeling as if something was attracting her involuntarily. The Wu family actually gave her an inexplicable sense of familiarity. She felt a little strange. She had never interacted with the Wu family before. Why did it give her a sense of familiarity? Everyone, please. The person who came to receive them was the Wu family's housekeeper, who kindly reminded them. It wasn't polite to be in a daze in front of someone else's gate. I'm really sorry. I rarely saw these in the past. I felt that the two stone lions were very interesting, so I took a few more glances. Sima Yue explained. Miss Yue is joking. The housekeeper said with a smile, Master and the others are waiting for you inside. Please. Sima Xiuqi nodded and walked in before him. There were no familiar people, no familiar sights. Why did she feel that it was familiar? The housekeeper brought them in. The people who were watching from the corner of the street quietly left. Chapter 1644. When Sima Yue saw the head of the Wu family, she was stunned for a moment. He looked somewhat familiar, somewhat similar to a certain someone. Wu family head saw her staring at his face and looked at her with a smile. I had some matters to attend to just now, so I didn't greet you from afar. Please don't take offense. Sorry for the intrusion. I've heard of family head Wu's great name ever since I arrived on the island. Today, I finally get to meet you. Sima Xiuqi was adept at speaking courteously. Haha, please come in. Patriarch Wu laughed and led them into the living room. I heard that you came here from the outside. Since you're here, you should stay here for a while. Isn't this too much of a bother? Sima Xiuqi said, the main reason we came here this time was to participate in the Crimson Pearl Convention. Now that the Crimson Pearl Convention has ended, we will stay on the island for a while before leaving. Isn't there still some time? Then he would stay in the Wu family for 2 more days. Since you don't know anyone on the island, why don't you stay here? Patriarch Wu said warmly. If that's the case, we'll have to disturb you. Sima Yue sat down obediently and did not listen to her grandfather and Master Wu's greetings. At this moment, her heart was in turmoil. The Wu family and the Wu family had different names. They were supposed to be unrelated, but for some reason, she subconsciously thought of them together. Wu Lingyu was a child picked up by Old Man Devil. No one knew where she came from or what her name was. Old Man Devil said that he once asked Wu Lingyu, who was only 1 or 2 years old, what his name was. He only said Wu, so he named him Wu Lingyu. At that time, he was so young. Was he talking about Wu or Wu? She couldn't be blamed for thinking too much. It was just that this Wu family head and Wu Lingyu looked somewhat similar, and the Wu family gave her a familiar feeling. She remembered why she found the stone lion familiar. She had seen a similar stone lion in Wu Lingyu's little realm, but it was only the size of a palm. She had once asked him why he had this. It was not his style. Later, he said that he had put this thing in his spatial ring when he was young. No wonder. She didn't know what relationship Wu Lingyu had with the Wu family, but she didn't plan to say it out loud. She would tell Wu Lingyu about it later. If he wanted to investigate, he could find out himself without her help. If he was unwilling, then this matter would be over. Once she understood this, she stopped worrying about her discovery. She thought about the matter of her master and the others coming over. While Sima Xiuqi and the others were resting, she asked, Patriarch Wu, I heard that after the last Crimson Pearl Convention, Su Jin and Gulang came to your residence. The Wu family head stared blankly for a moment, then nodded and admitted, that's right. At that time, after the Crimson Pearl Convention, we invited them over. At that time, there were many people who invited them, but we were the only ones who answered. However, he left on the same day. Did they say anything after they came here? Sima Yue asked. What did he say? Patriarch Wu looked at Sima Yue suspiciously. They were just here to chat. We wanted to recruit them, but they didn't agree, so we didn't mention it again. After that, they left. Then did they ask you any questions? Or did they mention where they were going after they left? Sima Yue asked. Miss Sima seems to be very interested in their matters. Patriarch Wu said. Sima Yue smiled and said, to be honest, Su Jin is my master, and Go Lang is my teacher in the academy. Back then, they came to the Lost Lands and disappeared without a trace. This time, we are here to find my master. Go Lang is your master? Patriarch Wu was a little surprised, but he immediately understood. No wonder the two of them would treat patients at the same time. So they had this kind of relationship. These three are my senior brothers and senior sisters. We are very worried about Master, so we came here. If Patriarch Wu knows anything, please tell us. Sima Yue said sincerely. If you want to talk about anything, they did ask me some questions. Patriarch Wu recalled, our ancestors once had a divine devil physique. They asked us how our ancestor solved this physique. Sima Yue and Jiang Junxian looked at each other. Back then, they came here to solve the problem of Sima Yue's physique, saying that there was a solution here. They didn't expect them to come here and ask this question. They didn't say anything. Patriarch Wu continued, our ancestors did have such a person, but that was hundreds of thousands of years ago. How would he know how he solved this problem? So in the end, we could only say sorry. Then did your ancestor die because of his physique? Sima Lu Xian asked. No. In the end, he used some method to solve his physique problem, but he joined the Devil Clan. Patriarch Wu said. Sima Yue's heart skipped a beat. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, divine devil physique, Devil Clan. Could the Wu clan's ancestor be Mo Sha? If it was true, then between Mo Sha and Wu Lingyu. Patriarch Wu, did my master and the others say where they would go that day? Han Miaoshuang's question interrupted her thoughts. When they heard that we couldn't do anything, they were very disappointed. Then we asked them about their plans. They said that since we didn't know, they really didn't know who would know how to solve it. Since that was the case, there was no point in staying here, so they planned to leave. So if you didn't say that he was missing, I would have thought that they left. Sima Yue knew that he was telling the truth. Su Jin and the others weren't here now. From what Tuo Xiaogong said last time, they were undoubtedly in the Hao clan. They knew that this would be the result, so they weren't disappointed. Also, accepting the Wu clan's invitation was just an excuse to come to Black Tortoise City. In the next few days, they stayed in the Wu clan and discussed some academic problems with the Wu clan's doctors and alchemists. Their days were considered leisurely. Soon, news began to spread outside, saying that the #1 doctor had entered the Wu clan and became their guest, which was why they didn't come out for so many days. They were getting along well, but the others weren't so happy. After getting them, they actually joined their enemy, the Wu clan. The Hao clan's patriarch's face was so black that water could drip out. Patriarch, this Sima Yoyue's medical skills are really brilliant, especially her silver needle technique. If she can give it to our Hao clan, then we can go further in the medical path. Someone said, yes, I've heard of the silver needle technique before, but I've never seen it with my own eyes. This time, it's an eye-opener. Another person said, I arranged for those few patients to enter, so I know their situation very well. It's only been a few days, but they've almost recovered. Patriarch, do you want to use the old method? Chapter 1645. The old methods were naturally those that the Hao clan did not want to see the light of day. In fact, there had been a lot of disappearances in recent years, which had attracted some people's attention. Some people were even investigating this matter. Logically speaking, the Hao family should have kept a low profile at this juncture. However, Sima Yoyue's silver needle technique was too attractive. They could not resist her charm at all. After much hesitation, the Hao family still made that risky decision. At the same time, Sima Yue found out about their thoughts and plans. As such, on the morning of the second day, Sima Yue took her people and left. Then, she found a remote place and kept them in the spirit pagoda. Then, she pretended as if nothing had happened and strolled around the streets. She entered a medicinal shop and began to look for the medicinal herbs she wanted. Dear guest, is there anything I can help you with? What kind of medicinal herbs do you want? The shop assistant came up to him with an eager and enthusiastic attitude. I don't have anything I want to buy. I just want to see if you have any rare herbs. Sima Yue said calmly. The shop assistant could tell at a glance that she was an outsider, so he smiled and said, Dear customer, do you want to see the unique medicinal herbs on our island? Yes. Sima Yue nodded. If possible, I want older ones. These herbs are unique to our island. If you want to cherish them, you'll have to go to the second floor. The shop assistant said enthusiastically. Sima Yue glanced at the herbs and realized that they were all ordinary herbs. She lost interest after looking at them for a while. Since the treasures are on the second floor, I'll go there and take a look. Guest, please follow me. The shop assistant brought her to the second floor and led her to the place where the unique herbs of the island were placed. He said, Dear customer, this is the place. Sima Yue looked around. The herbs here were indeed much better than those downstairs. Is this silver water grass? She picked up a stalk of silver water grass and looked at it. Yes, this is 100-year-old silver water grass. The shop assistant replied. Are 100-year-old herbs considered rare? Sima Yue asked curiously. This silver water grass is a rather common medicinal herb on the island. Because it has a wide range of uses, many people use it. Because of the high demand, they were usually dug out as soon as they reached the age where they could be used. In recent years, older ones have become very rare, the shop assistant explained. I see. Sima Yue understood and put down the silver water plant. She then looked at the medicinal herbs in the other box. Every time she looked at a medicinal herb, she would ask some questions about the herb, and the shop assistant would explain it to her in detail, some of which she was interested in. Give me the ones I chose just now. Sima Yue said. All right. When the shop assistant went to collect the herbs, he seemed to have thought of something. He turned around and said to Sima Yue, Dear customer, we just received a herb today, but it hasn't been displayed yet. Those medicinal herbs are also quite rare. Do you want to take a look? It's also a rare medicinal herb? Then bring it up. Sima Yue replied. The shop assistant went down and came back up in less than 2 minutes with a box in his hand. Sima Yue saw that the box was very exquisite and the patterns on it were very intricate. Many medicinal herbs were placed in jade boxes, and there were very few that were placed in wooden boxes. Sima Yue became interested. What kind of medicinal herb is inside? She asked curiously. Dear customer, you will know when you open it. The shop assistant handed the medicinal herb to her. Sima Yue did not suspect anything and opened the box. However, there was no medicinal herb inside, and white smoke came out. She only felt that she smelled something nice, and before she could react, she was lying on the table. Seeing that she had fainted, a door on the second floor opened, and two people who looked like guards walked out. "Done?" one of the guards asked. The shop assistant kept his previous enthusiasm and nodded at the two of them. The two guards came to Sima Yue's side, and one of them picked her up and carried her under his armpit. They entered the previous room and disappeared from the second floor silently. Sima Yue woke up with a headache, and her body was still weak. She wanted to rub her forehead, but she could not do so. However, she was in a good mood, and there was even a faint smile on her face. Stupid woman, you always end up like this. Other than hurting yourself, do you know any other way?" Mier's voice sounded, and then a miniature version of her appeared by the bed. Sima Yue ignored the sarcasm in his words and said, "This is the simplest and most effective way." Go ahead and do it," Mier said unhappily. "Which medicinal pill?" "The orange-red one," Sima Yue said. Mier took out an orange-red medicinal pill and stuffed it into her mouth. Very quickly, she felt that she was slowly regaining control of her body. When her body was completely detoxified, she sat up from the bed and looked around the room. The room was not big, and the decorations were simple, but the things used were of the highest quality. Perhaps because they knew that she would be weak after being poisoned, there was not even a guard at the door. "The Hao family knows how to enjoy themselves," Sima Yue commented. Mier cooperated and gave her a single syllable. "I wonder where Master and the rest are. Would they be locked in the same place as her?" "Don't think about it. When I came in, I looked around. This is a small courtyard, and you're alone," Mier said. Sima Yue was surprised when she heard this. She was locked up alone. Then it seemed that she was treated well, and she was not locked up immediately. Thinking about it, she had not met the Hao family yet. If she was willing to join the Hao family, then she would not be locked up in their secret base. It would not be too late to send her over after they met and confirm that she would not join them. Hence, she stayed here peacefully and waited for the Hao family to appear. She was not disappointed. The Hao family appeared the next day. Seeing that Sima Yue had already woken up, they were not surprised. "Who are you?" Sima Yue was lying on the bed. She still looked very weak. "I'm the head of the Hao family." Hao family? Sima Yue frowned. "Why did you bring me here?" Hao Ji did not reply to her, but walked directly to the bedside and lowered his head to look at her, saying with a smile, "Miss Yu has obtained first place in the Crimson Pearl Convention. This Hao has yet to congratulate you." Sima Yue's face was cold as she mocked. "Drugging and locking someone up, is this how the Hao family congratulates someone? I cannot accept this kind of congratulation." Chapter 1646. Please wait for a moment. After the content has been updated, please refresh the page to get the latest update. Chapter 1647. Please wait for a moment. After the content is updated, please refresh the page to get the latest update. Chapter 1648. Please wait for a moment. After the content is updated, please refresh the page to get the latest update. Chapter 1649. Please wait for a moment. After the content is updated, please refresh the page to get the latest update. Chapter 1650. When Su Jin and the others woke up, the injuries on their bodies were already mostly healed. Recalling what had happened before he fainted, he woke up with a start and sat up on the bed. Gulang, who was beside him, also woke up. "Old Su, are we hallucinating?" Gulang asked. "Looking at you and me, I can tell if it's an illusion or not," Su Jin said as he got off the bed. When he came to the courtyard, he found that there was no one there. Gulang also came out. Looking at the empty courtyard, he asked Did Yue and the others really come? I also hope that we are hallucinating. Su Jin closed his eyes. They had already realized how painful the days here were. He didn't wish for his students to be imprisoned here like him, forever unable to escape. You have to trust them, Glenn said. Yue, that child, never does anything she's not sure of. Since she dared to come here, she must have a way out. She's here to save us. At this time, a guard walked in from the outside. The barrier had no effect on her. Seeing Su Jin and Gulang standing at the door, he excitedly said, Master, teacher, you're awake? Yue? Gulang saw another unfamiliar face and called out tentatively. Sima Yue nodded and returned to her original appearance. She smiled and said, It's me. Why are you here? Su Jin glared at her. I participated in the Crimson Pearl Convention and then deliberately allowed myself to be captured by the Hao clan. When Su Jin heard this, he was infuriated and shouted, Do you know where this place is? Who knows how many people who came here never made it out? How can you be so careless? Faced with his scolding, Sima Yue walked over and said, It's precisely because we know where this place is that we have to come. Master, don't worry, we will get you out of here. You, Master, you've been imprisoned here for so many years because of me. How can I not care about anything? Sima Yue interrupted him. If I had known that you would be living such a life here, I would have come earlier. Sima Yue looked at them with tears in her eyes, causing them to swallow their words. All right, old Su. It's already like this. It's useless for you to scold her. Don't pull a long face all the time. Isn't it just that the students saw you in your most embarrassing state? What's there to be embarrassed about? Gulang didn't hesitate to tear him down. The corner of Su Jin's mouth twitched. He glared at him and then turned to return to his room. He was not afraid of a godlike opponent, but he was afraid of a pig-like teammate. Gulang was a complete hindrance to him. Sima Yue called out Jiang Junxian and the others before entering the house. Seeing several people appear out of thin air, Su Jin and Gulang were a little surprised, but they didn't ask anything. Master, teacher, let me check your pulse first. Sima Yue walked over and started to take their pulse. How long have we been unconscious? Su Jin asked. 10 days. Those people didn't come? Gulang asked in astonishment. Sima Yue knew who they were talking about and said, They don't have the time to care about this. What did you do? Su Jin asked. Nothing much. I just made them a little busy, so they can't care about this for now. Sima Yue said, Master, you're recovering well. However, you've suffered a lot of injuries in recent years, and you've relied on yourself to recover. That's why there are some hidden injuries. I'll help you recuperate when we get back. After speaking, she went to take Gulang's pulse again. She held her breath and didn't intend to tell them what she had done. Su Jin wanted to say something, but Jiang Junxian said, Master, with your current situation, you should focus on recuperating. Sima Yue gave him a look of approval. Senior was still so understanding. Su Jin, Gulang didn't say anything at the side because Sima Yue's face didn't look too good. I know my own body. Although it looks serious, it'll be fine after recuperating. He saw Yue's gaze on him, and his voice became softer and softer. However, Sima Yue didn't say anything to attack him. She just planned in her heart how to recuperate their bodies. After she had finished examining the two of them, they asked Yu and the others why they had come to look for them. Senior brother and senior sister have been worried about you guys. However, because I've been busy all these years and didn't have the strength to do so at first, I only came now. Sima Yue felt guilty when she thought about it. Master and the others came here because of her and suffered so much. However, she only came now. You guys have the strength to come here now. Su Jin looked at Jiang Junxian, especially you. You're the eldest senior brother. Instead of taking care of your junior brother and junior sister, you're messing around with them. Master, we're not messing around with you. Han Miao Shuang explained softly. Then what is it? Su Jin glared at her. You don't believe that Master can go back by himself? Han Miao Shuang and Su Xiao Xiao lowered their heads and lowered their eyes to hide their emotions. It wasn't that they looked down on him. It was just that without the people behind Yue, it was impossible to leave this place by themselves. Master, What did you guys do on the island? Sima Yue asked. They made us refine various pills and things like that. Then, they made us hand over our secret arts. Su Jin said. Those who lost there will obediently handed it over. As for us, although we suffer a lot, we didn't break down mentally. Master, I saw someone using your pill refining techniques at the Crimson Pearl Convention. Did you? Han Miao Shuang pursed her lips. She didn't finish her sentence. No. However, we refine pills in a centralized place. That's why it could be imitated. Su Jin said. But that person is an outsider. Many people couldn't stand the torture here and finally compromised. Galang said, Master, teacher, you guys use this kind of pain to motivate yourselves to not compromise, right? Sima Yue said affirmatively. Su Jin smiled and didn't refute her words. Yue, can you tell us now what you guys did these days? Su Jin leaned on the chair. All right, I didn't do much. I just changed all the books in their treasury and set the building on fire. Sima Yue smiled happily. So now those people are investigating the person who did it. They don't have time to take care of us. You set the treasury on fire? Gulang and Su Jin looked at her in shock. Yes. Who asked them to do this to you guys? This treasury is just the first step. Sima Yue snorted. How Clan prepared to receive her anger bit by bit. Chapter 1651. Please wait for a moment. After the content has been updated, please refresh the page to get the latest update. Chapter 1652. Sima Yue understood what he meant. He felt that he had nothing to worry about, so it didn't matter where he lived. Therefore, during his days of captivity, his mentality had always been good, and he had not been driven crazy by the endless loneliness and despair. This was also a good attitude. However, not all of the people here were like this. Some of them relied on the worries in their hearts to persevere for so long. Only by living could he see them again. No matter which one it was worthy of admiration. Grandpa, if you have nowhere to go, you can go to Heartbreak Valley. Over at our place. Sima Yue started to bluff again. Those who were locked up here by the Hao family were not ordinary people. It would be good if they could be lured back. The little old man listened to her and did not interrupt her. He waited for her to finish speaking before he chuckled and said, Little girl, you're very sure that we'll be able to get out? Of course. Sima Yue said confidently. The Hao family can't do whatever they want in this continent, right? He would always hit an iron plate. Look, the treasury has been burned down. Next time, they might destroy the torture chamber or sink the island. It's better if such a place doesn't exist. This place can't be destroyed just because you want to, the little old man said faintly. Why? Sima Yue felt that there was a deeper meaning to his words. This is the foundation of the Hao family. How could such an important place not be heavily guarded? The little old man took a sip of tea. Why is the Hao family's foundation here? Sima Yue was shocked. Previously, she had felt that this place was not like an ordinary prison. It turned out that there was such a reason behind it. It said that there's a place here that can cleanse the tendons and marrow of newborn babies, change their physique, and improve their talent. All the children born in the Hao family would be brought here for baptism. In the past, the Hao clan was not considered to be outstanding in the Lost Lands, but later on, they quickly rose up. Other than these despicable methods, they relied on the talents of these few generations. No wonder there are so many peak monarchs guarding an ordinary place. Sima Yue understood and then glanced at the little old man. These are the Hao clan secrets, right? Grandpa, how did you know? Naturally, it's because I've been here for a long time, so I've heard everything. The little old man smiled faintly, ignoring the prying look in her eyes. Grandpa, how long have you been here? Sima Yue asked curiously. It's been a few hundred years. These guards have changed quite a few times already. The little old man said. Sima Yue heard from him the new batch of people would be stationed here every once in a while. It was unbearable to stay here for a few years or even a few decades, but he had actually stayed here for hundreds of years. Grandpa, I believe that this treasure pavilion is just the beginning of getting rid of the malignant tumor that is the Howe family." She smiled at the little old man. The little old man didn't say that he believed it, but he didn't say that he didn't either. He said meaningfully, "If you can let us leave, I'll go to the place you mentioned." "Good. Old grandfather. You have to remember what you said." Sima Yu smiled. This little old man never lies. The little old man was still the same, but Sima Yu felt that when he said this, he was serious. The two of them then became silent. Sima Yu waited for a while, and the guards who had walked past came back with a few people in their hands. It seemed like they were going to bring them back for questioning. Sima Yu stood up and said to the guards, "You've got the wrong people. Don't make trouble." One of the guards scolded. "I'm not making trouble. I'm telling the truth." Sima Yu said, "You've really got the wrong people. Then do you know who set the fire?" Another guard asked. "I know." Sima Yu looked at them with a smile. "Who is it?" "Me." She pointed at herself. This time, even the guard ignored her and wanted to leave with those people. "Hey, I'm telling the truth. That fire was really set by me." Sima Yu said, "That fire is so special. Is it something that an ordinary person would have?" The few guards looked at Sima Yu with a different gaze. The treasure pavilion was burned, and the fire was very strange. Others did not know about it, but she did. Could she really be the culprit? But she was so weak. How could she be the culprit? Not to mention other things, she could not even get out of this enchantment. But Sima Yu did not give them any time to think. With a wave of her hand, a flame burned the rocking chair she was sitting on. That flame had the same aura as the one that burned the treasure pavilion. "It's really you." The guards believed her. "It's impossible for you to get out of the enchantment." Sima Yu called out Little Roar, and with a light step, she came out of the enchantment. They did not expect her to come out so easily, and the few guards quickly surrounded her. "Capture her and bring the rest of them back." The head of the guards ordered. "Don't touch me. I can walk on my own." Sima Yu said to the guards who wanted to touch her. Seeing that they still wanted to come over, she glared at them and threatened, "Come over if you're not afraid that I'll suddenly set the place on fire." Thinking of her inextinguishable fire, the guards were so scared that they took a step back. "Let's go." The head of the guards did not dare to touch her, and said. Sima Yu smiled at the old man who was staring at her with his mouth agape, and left with them. The little old man watched as she disappeared around the corner. Thinking of her smile when she left, he sighed. No wonder when he saw her, his heart, which had been silent for many years, was stirred up. So it was really, maybe he could really leave this damn place. Sima Yu followed them to a courtyard, and there were a few people sitting inside. Sima Yu glanced at them, and it was not those old farts. "You said that you set the fire?" The person sitting in the middle asked. "Yes." Sima Yu admitted. "Why did you do that?" Sima Yu looked at the person who spoke in astonishment, and her eyes were filled with disdain. Her meaning was obvious. Why would you people ask such an idiotic question? "You locked me up here, and I can't be angry." She sneered, and those people were so angry that their faces turned red. "You're Sima Yu? Yes. If you don't want me to burn this place down, you better let me go." Sima Yu snorted coldly and rolled her eyes, looking extremely arrogant. "Humph, we'll kill you first, then you won't be alive to burn this place down." "Humph, do you dare?" Sima Yu said confidently. "If you dare to kill me, I'll probably be dead the moment I enter the door." How she gave you an order, "You can't let anything happen to me without the silver needle technique, right?" When she said this, the faces of the people in the room turned ugly. Chapter 1653. She was right. How she had indeed given them such an order. No matter what method he had to use, he had to obtain the silver needle technique in her hands. Seeing her happy and contented look, they were so angry that they wanted to vomit blood, but they really didn't dare to kill her. Lock her up in the torture chamber. Tell them that they only need to leave one last breath. The leader ordered. Make her into a human swine. Cut off her arms and legs, but leave her mouth intact. Human swine? Are you sure? Sima Yu squinted her eyes. Her gaze sent chills down the spine of the person who spoke. "All right, take him away." The leader waved his hand, and someone immediately stepped forward. Sima Yue did not want them to touch her, so she followed them. After she left, the leader immediately ordered, "Tell this matter to the main family, and ask the clan master what to do. Tell the torture chamber that they can carry out the torture, but don't kill him before there's news from them." "Yes, fifth elder." The guard received the order and left. The person who said that he wanted to turn Sima Yue into a human swine stood up and said, "Sima Yue is too cunning. I'm worried. I'll go and take a look." "Old 10, don't go too far. You have to at least leave your hand behind." The fifth elder knew that person's temperament and warned him. "I know." The 10th elder left the room as soon as he finished speaking. Sima Yue rolled her eyes at the 10th elder who had followed her out and ignored him. The 10th elder walked over and said, "I'll personally send you there." Sima Yue turned her head away and refused to look at her. I hope you can still be so arrogant in a bit." The 10th elder sneered. Thinking about her fate, his lips curled into a bloodthirsty smile. "Aren't you leaving?" Sima Yue asked the guard beside her. "Don't worry, they'll send someone to pick you up," the 10th elder said. Then he instructed the guard beside him, "Give her the medicine first." "Yes, 10th elder." The guard took out a pill and was about to feed it to Sima Yue. Sima Yue stretched out her hand and caught it. She sniffed it and said, "You guys always use this kind of poison. Don't you have any new ideas?" Sima Yue pursed her lips. Under everyone's gaze, she still ate the poison and complained that it smelled bad. Soon, she felt dizzy and fell to the ground. Those people let her fall to the ground without any sympathy. The person who pretended to be unconscious on the ground cursed silently. After waiting for a while, a boat slowly sailed over. A few guards carried a few injured people from a boat and threw them on the ground. She then looked at Sima Yue and asked, "Is this the only one?" She has already admitted that she is the one who set the fire. Fifth elder said. The guard briefly explained the situation and then warned, "Fifth elder said that you can do whatever you want with this person, but you must not kill her. Also, you must leave her mouth and hands behind." All right, I'll follow. Why do you need to be nagging here?" the 10th elder said impatiently. The guard rolled his eyes in his heart. He said so much to the people in the torture room because he wanted to go. The people in the torture room picked up Sima Yue and turned aboard the boat. The 10th elder followed. They did not say anything and ordered the boat to set sail and slowly left the island. Sima Yue was casually thrown onto the deck. He stood at the bow of the boat and remained silent. The 10th elder knew his character and did not say anything along the way. Soon, they arrived at the torture room. Sima Yue calculated in her heart. The torture room was not far from the island where she was imprisoned. The boat would only take about an hour. The torture room must be under their protection. Otherwise, they would not have dared to use a boat and would have encountered a sea beast. She was carried ashore by the man and thrown into a stone house. No wonder they dared to throw her here. It turned out that this was a stone house and could not be burned at all. She didn't know what the 10th elder was doing. Only the people from the torture chamber and her were here. "We are already here. Do you still want to continue pretending to be unconscious?" The person's voice was very pleasant. When Sima Yue heard him say this, she knew that she had been discovered. Since they were already in the torture room, there was no need for her to continue pretending. Thus, she opened her eyes and saw a face that was carved by the gods. Perhaps because he often lived in the dark, this person's face was a little pale. Coupled with his black clothes, he looked even paler. Because he had been torturing for a long time, there was a faint smell of blood and a strong murderous intent on his body. She was not anxious even though she was exposed. She sat up and looked at him, saying, "When did you find out?" The man saw that there was no panic or fear in her eyes. His eyes flashed and said, "You hid it very well, but even the slightest difference could not escape my ears. Your breathing is a little lighter than normal people who are unconscious." Sima Yue did not expect his ears to be so sharp. She leaned against the wall and asked, "Since you found out from the beginning, why didn't you throw me gently when you got on the boat?" The man was stunned and said, "Wouldn't it be more realistic this way?" Was he helping her? Why didn't you expose me? Why should I expose you? Aren't you afraid that I have ulterior motives and will destroy this place? If you destroy it, then so be it. His voice was very soft, but Sima Yue felt a strong sense of hatred. Aren't you afraid that your family will blame you? Sima Yue asked, when did I say that this is my family? You are not from the Hao family? I'm the same as these people. I'm locked up here. However, I am a little special because they are interested in my ability in this area. There was actually such a thing. Sima Yue felt that she was really surprised this time. She thought that the people here were all from the Hao family. You want me to get you out of here? She said with certainty. The man did not say anything and did not deny what she said. What is your name? Sima Yue stood up. She had never met someone who specialized in this area before. Su Yang. Su Yang? Su family? Do you know Su Lunyan? You know Lunyan? She is my sister. Su Yang's voice did not fluctuate, but he was a little excited when he heard Su Lunyan's name. You are her brother? Why haven't I heard her mention you before? Sima Yue believed his words because he looked similar to Su Lunyan. No wonder she felt that he was a little familiar. Su Yang did something to his face, and even his facial features changed a little. Although each of them was only a little, when put together, there was a huge change. A face that was 70% to 80% similar to Su Lunyan appeared in front of her. You. She was not used to seeing this face on a man's face. Lunyan and I are twins, Su Yang said. Chapter 1654. Fraternal twins were not as alike as twins. Many fraternal twins looked different. It was rare for him to look so similar to Su Lunyan. However, he didn't let her look at it for long. He fiddled with it a few more times and changed his face back. Have you seen it clearly? His voice was still as cold as ever. Sima Yue pouted. Why is your aura so different from Annie's? Su Lunyan looked like a gentle and pleasant person. As for Su Yang, he looked like a cold person. Are you close to him? Su Yang asked. Yes, and he treats me very well. I don't have much contact with the Su family. Oh, I know Su Yu. Sima Yue said. Su Yu, is he okay? Not bad. He's quite famous outside. Sima Yue said. You and him. He's my son. Sima Yue had already guessed it, so she wasn't surprised. She looked at him from head to toe, shook her head, and said, You and your father are quite different. He's more like Anhe. Seeing that his eyes were a little gloomy, she didn't want to hurt him anymore. Instead, she asked, speaking of which, I still have to call you Uncle Yang. Uncle Yang, how long have you been here? 200 or 300 years. Do Anhe and Su Yu know? Su Yang shook his head. I came here by chance. I didn't tell my family. Sima Yue wanted to ask why he would help her when he didn't know her, but before she could speak, 10th Elder's voice came from outside. Sima Yue gave Su Yang a pill and sprinkled some powder in the air. Su Yang swallowed the pill. The smell of the stuff that Sima Yue had sprinkled was very faint, and it was almost undetectable under the cover of the bloody smell. Su Yang, where's that little bitch? 10th Elder asked as soon as he entered. Su Yang glanced at him and ignored him. The 10th Patriarch was not angry. He turned his gaze to Sima Yue and said with an evil smile, Little B***, are you very capable? Go ahead and burn it. Can you burn this place too? Because he was in charge of the treasury, he was severely punished by his family after she burned it down. So when he saw Sima Yue, he really wanted to kill her. But he couldn't go against his family's wishes. But didn't his family say that as long as she was alive? So he could do whatever he wanted as long as she was alive. I originally wanted to make you into a human swine, but I insisted on leaving you with an arm, so I can't make you into a human swine. But I have a better idea, Yue. After saying that, he took out a blood-red net. I'll put this on you later, and then I'll cut off your flesh piece by piece. Every time, I only cut off half of it before giving you a pill. That way you wouldn't die, right? When you're almost done here, I'll move to the other side. Alternating, I'll let you have a good taste of pain. Are you sure? Sima Yue did not show a trace of fear. Instead, she looked at him with interest. Seeing his lean body, she shook her head. Ah, you are indeed daring. I'm not being daring. You chose the ending for yourself, so I have to satisfy you, right? Sima Yue said. What did you say? What did you do? The 10th Patriarch felt that something was wrong. His body seemed to be tired. He knew what was wrong with him. He wanted to control the poison with his spiritual energy, but it sped up the poison's flow. The weaker prison guards behind him couldn't resist and fell to the ground. Sima Yue stood at the same spot and looked at him, saying, Actually, I have always liked to use poison. It's convenient and fast. It's not a waste of time I spent on it. She admitted that she had poisoned them. Your space ring has already been removed. How can there still be poison on your body? The 10th Patriarch did not want to believe her. Are you talking about this? Sima Yue took out a space ring and put it on her finger. How is that possible? Nothing is impossible. Sima Yue walked over and kicked him. He immediately fell to the ground. You were the one who attacked Su Jin and Galang last time, right? Who are you? The 10th Patriarch felt that something was wrong. How did she know about Su Jin and Galang? Who am I? Su Jin is my master. Galang is my teacher. Sima Yue bent down and picked up the net in his hand. The snow silk is dyed red with blood. Looks like you used this a lot. She threw the net to Su Yang in disdain. I'll leave this guy to you. Leave the people outside to me. Su Yang caught the net and said, There are many people outside. Sima Yue smiled at him. I brought many people with me too. She turned and left after saying that. Su Yang looked at the net in his hand. Thinking about her confident look, he did not go out. Instead, he took the net and walked to the 10th Patriarch's side. Sima Yue went outside and called out the people in the Spirit Pagoda. Then, she opened her little realm and called out Feng Xiang and the rest. Aunt Xiang, I'll have to trouble you. Sima Yue said to Feng Xiang. Feng Xiang and the rest knew about what happened to her in the Hao clan and were furious. The Hao clan used to be all right. I didn't expect them to be such a dirty clan. Aunt Xiang, the Hao clan imprisoned many geniuses and even tortured my master and the rest for decades. I don't want to let them go. We can't tolerate such people. Feng Xiang nodded, agreeing with her actions. But they have a few Pinnacle Paragon rankers. Miss, Feng Xiang saw her troubled expression and looked at her speechlessly. Don't you know that we are all Pinnacle Paragon rankers? What? Sima Yue was stunned. They were all Pinnacle Paragon rankers? Our Feng people have a long history. There are many Pinnacle Paragon rankers. How can they be weak if they were chosen by the Lord to protect you? Feng Xiang said. Sima Yue opened her mouth. Although she knew that Feng Xiang and the rest were strong, she did not expect them to be experts among experts. Feng Ru Yin was too good to her. She wondered if they would be unhappy to have Pinnacle Paragon rankers as her bodyguards. It was a waste of talent. Miss, we are all willing. Feng Xiang saw through her thoughts and smiled. No matter if they were willing or not, they had to be willing after Feng Ru Yin gave the order. Aunt Xiang, you should deal with the jailers here first. Sima Yue said, after destroying the torture room, we will go back to get Master and the rest. Okay. With Feng Xiang and the rest taking action, the entire island was dealt with in a short while. Sima Yue estimated that it was about time and returned to the prison. No wonder she was so confident that she could save everyone. Sima Yue walked over and squatted beside the 10th elder. She reached out and asked Su Yang for his knife. Actually, I didn't want you to die so early. She said unwillingly, but I have to get some information from you. You're really lucky. With that, she stabbed the small knife into the 10th elder's body. Su Yang did not expect Sima Yue to really kill him. He wanted to say something, but he saw her pick up the corpse and use her divine sense to enter his mind. After getting the information she wanted, she threw the body to the ground and pulled out the knife from his chest. She stood up and handed it to Su Yang. This knife is pretty good. It should feel good to torture him with this. Su Yang felt that he should thank her and praise her. Let's go. Sima Yue stepped over him and walked outside. Feng Xiang quickly followed. He did not know what kind of girl she was. If he could leave this place, he wanted to ask his sister about it. As for the people lying on the ground, he stabbed each of them when he passed by and sent them to hell. When he came out, he saw a group of Peak Paragon ranks outside. He was so scared that he almost dropped his knife. Actually, I really want to blow this place up myself. But in order not to alert them, I can only forget about it. Sima Yue said to Jiang Junxian. Su Jin and Gulang were injured many times here. She really wanted to destroy this place. Master and the others won't care about this. Jiang Junxian said, but we better go there quickly. If they know about this and hurt Master and the others, it will be troublesome. Sai, let's go. Sima Yue sighed. The boat can't fit so many people. Su Yang said, and the target was too big. Sima Yue took out the little realm and let them all in. Only Jiang Junxian, Han Miao Shuang, and Su Xiao Xiao were left. They came to the port, and a small boat floated on the water. They went up and rowed the boat towards the island where they were imprisoned. When they were almost there, Su Yang said to them, it's easy to be discovered if we go up from here. I know a secret place. Let's row this way. At this time, he was with them, so they didn't have to worry about him cheating. They rowed according to what he said. Soon, they arrived at a sheltered bay. They flew up from here and didn't see anyone patrolling. How did you find this place? Aren't you always with them? Although Su Yang was in charge of the torture room, there was never anyone left by his side. Although they said they were for him to run errands, they were just monitoring him. Someone escaped once. When we came here, we caught him here, so we remembered this place. Su Yang said, after so many years, you never gave up on leaving, right? Su Xiao Xiao said. Su Yang looked at the sea. He never thought of staying here, even if the Hao family promised him many benefits. Junior sister, are we going to find Master and the others? Han Miao Shuang asked. No need. We'll go directly to the Hao family to settle the score. Sima Yue said, I've already made arrangements with Master. However, Su Yang realized that the place Sima Yue went wasn't where the Hao family lived. Where are we going? He asked. Doesn't the Hao family have a precious place here? Of course, we're going to destroy their source. Sima Yue smiled. Destroy their source? Su Yang saw the smile on Sima Yue's face and thought that this guy was really ruthless. He was going to take drastic measures to prevent the people here from using that place. Sima Yue followed the route in 10th Elder's mind and came to an inconspicuous courtyard at the side of the island. It's here? Aren't we going in? Han Miao Shuang asked. Wait for a while, Sima Yue said. Just as she finished speaking, a deafening explosion came from the island near the torture room. Chapter 1656. The successive explosions not only shocked the Hao family, even Han Miao Shuang and the others were stunned. Little junior sister, did you do it? Su Xiao Xiao asked blankly. Didn't you say that you wouldn't alert the enemy? Han Miao Shuang was puzzled. What I said at that time was that it was a pity that I couldn't blow it up myself. I didn't say that I wouldn't blow it up. Sima Yue said, I've left a few Scarlet Bees to release the Thunderbolt bombs once they receive my orders. That Thunderbolt bomb has been modified. All you need to do is use fire. The people from the Hao family have gone over, Su Yang reminded the few people who were talking. It wasn't just the Hao clan's elders and guards. Even 2 Peak Monarch Realm experts had gone over. What should we do? What we need to do is actually very simple. Sima Yue called Feng Xiang and the rest out. Aunt Xiang, we'll have to trouble you when those people arrive. No problem, Feng Xiang replied. Little junior sister, you haven't said that we're going to... Han Miao Shuang swallowed her words when she saw the small metal ball she took out and took it with a grin. Should we set up a barrier? Otherwise, the entire island won't be enough for us to blow up. Sima Yue thought it was feasible, so she asked Feng Xiang to set up a barrier to block the power of the explosion. Do you want to come along? Sima Yue passed a Thunderbolt bomb to Su Yang. What is this? How do I use it? Su Yang asked. Sima Yue told him how to use the Thunderbolt bomb. Did you use this to blow up the torture chamber? Su Yang asked curiously. Yes. Sima Yue gave him a few more. Then, she flew into the air and threw one towards the courtyard below. Boom! The explosion created a crater in the corner of the courtyard. I'll do it too. Han Miao Shuang threw one down as well, blowing up half of the courtyard. Su Xiaoxiao and Jiang Junxian also threw two down. It was Su Yang's first time playing this game. He felt that was not bad and threw two more down. It didn't take long for the courtyard to be reduced to ruins. Ever since they threw the first Thunderbolt bomb, a few peak Monarch Realm experts came over to kill them. But before they could get close, they were stopped by Feng Xiang and the rest. That was why Sima Yu and the others had a good time. Over at the Hao family's fifth elder's side, the person he sent to the torture chamber had yet to send back any news, but the same thing had happened here. He rushed over with his guards, and what he saw was the scene of his own clan elder fighting with a few people. They were well aware of the strength of their own clan elder. They didn't expect that the newcomer would be able to fight them to a draw. No, the other party seemed to have a slight advantage. In addition, there was also a group of people outside, preventing them from approaching. However, Sima Yu, who should be in the torture chamber, was leading people to blow up their foundations. Sima Yu, you dare! Fifth elder shouted loudly, attracting Sima Yu's attention. She stopped and flew to the front of the crowd, confronting the fifth elder. Did you blow up the torture chamber too? Fifth elder's face was as black as it could get. Even if Sima Yu didn't answer, he could guess it from her voice. Yes. Sima Yu nodded. Then, she took out a thunderbolt bomb. She injected spiritual energy into it and threw it behind her. It landed firmly on the ruins and destroyed everything. Fifth elder was so angry that he couldn't say anything. His hand trembled as he pointed at her. This troublemaker. You want to kill me? Come here. Sima Yu hooked her finger at him provocatively. Who are you? Me? Am I not your prisoner? Impossible. You did it on purpose. Fifth elder finally reacted. Why did things happen on the island one after another the moment she arrived? She had a plan. You guessed right. I did it on purpose. I haven't thanked you for bringing me here. Otherwise, how could I find my master and the rest? Your master? Yes. My master and teacher. Who are they? Hey, they're coming over. Sima Yu pointed at the people who flew over from the dormitory area. Almost everyone who was imprisoned was there. The leaders were Su Jin and Gulang. How is this possible? Fifth elder shouted. How could those people come out? It was impossible for them to break the enchantment. What's impossible about it? Your enchantment isn't indestructible. As long as you have the key, how could you not come out? Sima Yu said. Their space rings have been taken off. How could they refine? It's you? Fifth elder stared at Sima Yu. He didn't need her to answer. Just by looking at her expression, he knew that she was the one who did it. Sima Yu called out Little Rock. She let him carry her and Su Xiaoxiao and the rest in the air to watch those people deal with the Hao family. Before leaving Su Jin and the rest, she gave the antidote to Hua Hua and the rest. She told them to pass it to Su Jin and Gulang. Then, she took advantage of the chaos that she caused to release all the imprisoned people. These people had been imprisoned here for so long. Their hatred towards the Hao family was as great as the sea. Now that they were free, they would naturally seek revenge. Knowing that they were all here, they naturally came over. Usually, they weren't strong. However, with the support of hatred and the Hao family being suppressed by the Feng people, it wouldn't be difficult for them to take revenge. At this time, they didn't need to participate. Let them do as they pleased. After Feng Xiang and the rest got rid of those few peak Paragon ranks, they didn't do anything else. Instead, they came to Sima Yu's side. They would only occasionally make a move when those people were no match for the Hao family. After half an hour, there wasn't a single Hao family member left alive on the island. Only now did those people truly believe that they had regained their freedom. Master! Sima Yu threw an interspatial ring to Su Jin. Su Jin looked at the things inside and was overjoyed. He gave one to each of them. Sima Yu quickly formed a protective layer to isolate the power of the explosion. Boom! 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 Those people threw all the thunderbolt bombs onto the island. The power caused the entire island to sink. From now on, there would no longer be a place of imprisonment and no one would ever live a life of darkness in this small place again. Those people who were already disappointed in leaving had their eyes red as they watched the island slowly sink into the sea. Some women even cried. They would never be in prison again. Sima Yue waited for them to calm down before saying, "If you guys continue to be so agitated, we won't be able to go back today. The Hao family should have received the news. They must have set up an ambush on our way back. I'm afraid this sea region won't be easy to travel. The Hao family imprisoned all of you for so many years. Don't you guys want to avenge your humiliation?" Yes. The unanimous answer resounded across the sea. Chapter 1657. After being imprisoned for so many years and being exploited for so many years, the physical and mental torture that he had endured all these years was not something that could be erased with just a few words. Ku asterisk, Lu asterisk Yin asterisk Qing asterisk Song asterisk sent. The pain in their hearts, the hatred in their hearts, and the years they had wasted here must be washed away with the blood of the Hao clan. However, this is not an easy place to walk. Someone said, "There are many ferocious sea beasts in this area. If we want to leave this place, we will need your help." Everyone had seen the battle between Feng Xiang and the Hao clan's ancestors. If Feng Xiang and the others were willing to help, then they would definitely be able to leave successfully. Since I've rescued you, I naturally won't leave you here. Moreover, the Hao family is a big family. We need to work together to deal with them. Sima Yue said to everyone, "May I know your name, miss? We can repay you in the future." "My name is Sima Yue. I've only contributed a little, so it's not worth mentioning. However, if you meet the Sima family of 64th State and Heartbreak Valley's Paramount Valley in the future, if you do anything wrong, please forgive us." Sima Yue bowed to them. "It's getting late. Shall we go? Do you all have flying beasts?" Some people had them, while others didn't. However, everyone still made do and got on their flying beasts. Sima Yue did not ask Feng Xiang and the rest to return. Instead, she asked them to lead the way with her. There were too many sea beasts in this area. With them leading the way, those sea beasts would still have some reservations. Of course, there were also those who encountered Lawless. This time, it was mainly the sea beasts that lived in groups. Relying on their numbers and strength, they wanted to attack the people in the sky. Unexpectedly, they were blown up by the thunderbolt bombs that fell from the sky. Those that survived quickly fled. After this incident, the sea beasts didn't dare to act rashly. Even if they felt that their territory was being challenged, they would turn a blind eye and let them leave. After rushing for a few days, they finally saw the Lost Island. Sima Yue brought them directly to the Hao family. Thanks to Tuo Xiaogong's map, she did not lead them to the wrong place. When they saw the Hao family's mansion, the anger in everyone's heart burned again. They wished they could immediately go and destroy them. "Don't worry." Sima Yue stopped them and gave them some thunderbolt bombs. "They have the advantage in numbers. Let's use this to get rid of the big head first. We'll attack the rest one by one." "Thank you." After everyone obtained the thunderbolt bombs, they flew into the air and threw them at the Hao residence. Amidst the rumbling sounds, more than half of the Hao residence was destroyed. The higher-ups of the Hao family had already received the news that something had happened over there, but they did not expect them to come to their door so quickly, so they were caught off guard. As for those juniors who didn't know about the situation and weren't prepared, many of them died in this unexpected disaster. By the time the Hao clan reacted, they had already flown into the air and clashed with the Black Tortoise City. The power of the battle had destroyed more than half of the dumbfounded Black Tortoise City. Those clans who reacted quickly activated their defensive array. They were not in the center of the battlefield, so the defensive array was enough to protect them. Let's go and see what's going on. Many people flew into the air above their houses, determined not to leave the range of the defensive array. Why is the Hao family fighting with the outsiders? Since when were there so many outsiders on the island? The people of Black Tortoise City were extremely shocked. Some of them had already guessed something. They had long heard that the Hao family had acted against the outsiders. It looked like this matter was true. With the Hao family's strength, these people who had been locked up should not have been able to escape. Otherwise, this matter would not have persisted for hundreds of years. Looking at the situation, it should be that those who had been locked up had all escaped. Suddenly, everyone realized that there were a few familiar faces in that group of people. The ones who left the deepest impression were Sima Yue, Su Jin, and Gulang. Su Jin and Gulang had not participated in the Crimson Pearl Convention for long. Because it was the first time outsiders had won against the people on the island, everyone had a deep impression of them. As for Sima Yue, there was no need to talk about her. This descending convention had only been over for a few days. When the Wu family head saw Sima Yue and Gulang together, he thought that she had actually managed to find them. It was just that he did not know how they had escaped. Almost everyone from the Hao family had moved out. Those old fellows were blocked by Feng Xiang and arrest, but there were still quite a number of others. Yue, if this carries on, everyone is going to lose. Bring those 3 fellows and leave quickly. Su Jin shouted at Sima Yue. Sima Yue thought for a moment, retreated to one side, and opened up her little realm to call out the powerful people from Bloodfiend City to help. F***K. Why are there so many people again? Seeing the sudden increase in people, the Hao family could not help but curse. With the addition of the people from Bloodfiend City, the pressure on the outsiders had lessened by quite a bit. They finally had a chance to catch their breath. But before they could rejoice, they felt a movement in the space. A group of people came out from the space tunnel and directly helped the Hao family. Sima Yue did not know which city and which force they were from. But since they came to help the Hao family at this moment, they should not be any good forces. Hence, she did not show any mercy when she attacked. At the start, both parties were still able to maintain a stalemate. But this situation changed after a few peak Paragon experts from the other family came over. They should have received Xiao Xiang from the Hao family and knew that they had a lot of experts. Hence, they directly moved the experts from the other side over. Hence, the number of experts they had to deal with was lesser, and they were able to suppress Feng Xiang and the rest. Just as the outsiders were being suppressed and retreated, someone wanted to take the opportunity to sneak an attack on Sima Yue. But he was burnt to ashes by the flames that suddenly appeared on her body. Chirp! Following a long chirp, the divine vermilion bird appeared in front of Sima Yue. He hovered in front of Sima Yue and burned all the people who surrounded her. Divine vermilion bird? This time, the people who were watching the show were not just watching the show. As a place that was linked to the divine clan from the 4 main cities, they knew how important the vermilion bird, azure dragon, white tiger, and black tortoise were. They always thought that the 4 great divine beasts had disappeared without a trace. They did not expect to see them with their own eyes one day, especially the people from the other force who came later. When they saw the vermilion bird, they were stunned. This vermilion bird is not that powerful. Everyone, don't be afraid. Some of you will hold back the vermilion bird. The 2 of you will attack that little girl. As long as she dies, the vermilion bird will die too. Now that things had come to this, there was no turning back. What they had to do was to move forward and wipe out all the people who were blocking their way. The 2 peak Paragon experts received the order and immediately attacked Sima Yue. Although she had more external strength, her own strength was weak. The attack of 2 peak Paragon experts was not something that she could withstand. The spiritual energy was in front of her in the blink of an eye. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.